Roughly 1 in every 3 people who walk this earth today profess to be Christian. They claim Jesus Christ as their Lord and Savior. But is he really? Do Christians today truly follow the religion which Jesus taught? Or was his call hijacked somewhere along the way? Remember, Jesus told us to watch out for false teachers, deceivers who appear as wolves in sheep's clothing. A reminder that the most dangerous enemies are the ones who you think you can trust, the ones who infiltrate and devour a flock from within. Jesus Christ, the Good Shepherd, told us exactly who to follow after him. He named his chief disciple, Simon Peter, as his successor, the rock upon which his church would be built. But somehow, another man, not Simon Peter, ended up becoming the dominant voice of Christianity. Roughly half of the books which fill the pages of the New Testament were written by one man, a man who never even met Jesus, a man with a deeply rooted hatred for Christians, a man called Saul of Tarsus, better known today as the Apostle Paul. Paul's teachings are so influential, some have even dubbed him the founder of Christianity, a claim which reveals a big problem. Paul's doctrine is often at odds with the message of Jesus, which begs the question, was Paul an apostle or an impostor, a messenger from Christ, or an antichrist who has led 1/3 of the world's population astray? Join us on Al Rayat Al Sud satellite channel as we tell the story of the man who stole the religion of Jesus and founded Christianity as we know it today, Paul, the false apostle. The year is roughly 36 AD. The place, Jerusalem. This is the holy city where the teachings of Christ once rang out into the air. But now, just a few years after the crucifixion, the winds have changed direction and some people are on a hunt for Christian blood. An angry mob zeroes in on a godly man by the name of Stephen, drags him out of the city and begins to stone him. They lay their coats in front of a young man called Saul of Tarsus, who fully consented to Stephen's death and later admitted, "And when the blood of your martyr Stephen was shed, I stood there giving my approval and guarding the clothes of those who were killing him." This story alone is shocking enough, but this was not the only time Saul got his hands dirty. Saul was born into a strict Jewish family and spent his youth studying under the famous rabbi Gamaliel, the man who trained him as a Pharisee. These are the same Pharisees whom Jesus referred to as vipers and sons of the devil. Saul's zeal for the law led him to become an inquisitor of the Jerusalem temple's priesthood. Saul was a bloodhound and admitted to mercilessly chasing and killing many Christians. According to the book of Acts, Saul was still breathing out murderous threats against the Lord's disciples when he had a transformative experience on the road to Damascus, a vision of the resurrected Jesus. It was that experience which allegedly changed everything. Saul became Paul and declared himself a freshly converted apostle of Christ. But there is a problem with this story. Paul can't quite get the details straight. It is considered a red flag when a person can't keep their story straight. When detectives work to solve a crime, they test witnesses on the consistency of their accounts. If the story keeps changing, suspicions arise. You might assume that a vision of Jesus would be memorable enough to stick in someone's memory, but the so-called Apostle Paul tells 3 different versions of his apparition on the road to Damascus, recorded in the book of Acts. In Acts chapter 9, verse 7, we find one account where Paul claims that his travel companions did not see Jesus, but heard his voice. And in Acts chapter 22, verse 9, we find another version of the story. They saw the light, but they did not understand the voice of him who was speaking to me. In one version, Paul is blinded for 3 days. In another, he makes no mention of such a thing. We are left wondering, which version should we believe? But perhaps a more important question to ask is, why does this all matter? It matters because the entire validity of Paul as a messenger hinges on this story. This is the single proof he used to convince people to take him seriously as a messenger from God. Having never met Jesus in the flesh, this is all he has to go on, and it just so happens that it cannot be verified by anybody. There is no mention of Paul in the Gospels by Jesus or anyone else for that matter. Nobody gives Paul the title of apostle other than Paul himself. So we have to ask these questions. Was Paul a man who saw the error in his ways and turned his life around? Or did he carry out his original agenda, utilizing a different strategy, destroying the Christian faith from within? In any case, one thing is certain. Paul's claim to apostleship directly contradicts what Jesus taught. Throughout his ministry, Jesus had many disciples. At one point, he amassed followers in the thousands. But there was always an inner circle of 12 men, handpicked by Jesus. That number, 12, was no accident. There was a specific purpose behind it. Talking about his second coming, Jesus said, "Truly I tell you, at the renewal of all things, when the Son of Man sits on his glorious throne, you who have followed me will also sit on 12 thrones, judging the 12 tribes of Israel." These words demonstrate just how important the sacred number 12 is. How could 11 or 13 apostles judge 12 tribes? The disciples themselves understood the significance of this number. After Jesus left them, the remaining 11 apostles set out to replace the fallen one from among them, Judas Iscariot, who betrayed Jesus. Praying for divine guidance, the men drew lots, and in the end, they reported that God chose Matthias to be the 12th disciple. There was one important criteria for the selection. Therefore, it is necessary to choose one of the men who have been with us the whole time the Lord Jesus was living among us, beginning from John's baptism to the time when Jesus was taken up from us. So imagine the confusion of the 12 disciples when, years later, Paul came along and inserted himself into the equation as the 13th disciple. Paul, a man who never met Jesus, certainly didn't qualify to be one of them. But that didn't stop Paul from making some dramatic changes to the religion of Jesus. And the early Christians did not consider Paul to be an authority in the same right as the 12. One of the most notable new concepts which Paul brought to Christianity was the abolishment of the Old Testament law. Claiming to speak on behalf of Christ, Paul said, "For sin shall no longer be your master, because you are not under the law, but under grace." He claimed that Christ redeemed us from the curse of the law by becoming a curse for us. For it is written, "Cursed is everyone who is hung on a pole." Basically, Paul argued that when Jesus died, so too did the law. The old covenant between God and man was overturned in favor of a new one by which all sins are forgiven of the one who simply says, "I believe." There is just one major problem with Paul's logic, though. According to the Gospel of Matthew, Jesus appeared to the 12 after the crucifixion saying this, "Therefore go and make disciples of all nations, and teaching them to obey everything I have commanded you." And Jesus clearly commanded them to keep the commandments. "Think not that I am come to destroy the law or the prophets. I am not come to destroy, but to fulfill them." Jesus was a reformer. His mission was to bring things back to the old ways of theology. He came to guide people back to the religion of God. Jesus, the long-awaited Jewish Messiah, affirmed the message of the Hebrew prophets before him. He adhered to the Jewish law and never once indicated that the law of the Old Testament prophets would or should be abolished. In fact, he said, "It is easier for heaven and earth to disappear than for the least stroke of a pen to drop out of the law." So why did Paul come out and teach the opposite? Just as Jesus said, "If you want to enter life, keep the commandments." Paul said, "No one will be declared righteous in God's sight by the works of the law." It simply couldn't make sense unless Paul had another agenda. Paul initially preached to people of his same religious background, the Jews. But when he found that he could not convince many that Jesus was divine, he went outside of Israel to the Gentiles. But once again, he faced difficulty. The Gentiles who were open to accepting Christ were not observers of Jewish law. Their food wasn't kosher. But the biggest obstacle Paul faced with the Gentiles was the circumcision law, the covenant between God and the believers, dating back to prophet Abraham. At first, Paul encouraged Gentile converts to follow the law. He even had his companion, Timothy, circumcised, as confirmed in Acts 16. But somewhere along the way, he changed his tune. The law was an obstacle standing in his way, so he cast it aside. Jesus said, "Follow the law down to the letter," but Paul said the exact opposite. Not only did he remove its obligation, he went so far as to call it harmful. I, Paul, tell you that if you let yourselves be circumcised, Christ will be of no value to you at all. You who are trying to be justified by the law have been alienated from Christ. You have fallen away from grace. Where was he getting this from? It certainly wasn't from the man who Jesus named as his successor, Simon Peter. When Jesus knew he wouldn't be around much longer, he handed the keys of the kingdom to his successor, Simon Peter, stating, "And I tell you, you are Peter, and on this rock I will build my church, and the gates of hell shall not prevail against it. I will give you the keys of the kingdom of heaven, and whatever you bind on earth shall be bound in heaven, and whatever you loose on earth shall be loosed in heaven." Although Jesus clearly designated a shepherd for his flock to follow in Peter, Paul argued that he was given a new gospel to spread. He said, "And of this gospel I was appointed a herald, and an apostle, and a teacher." You might imagine that Paul, as a follower of Christ, would have jumped at the chance to learn from the 12 men who lived with and learned from Jesus in the flesh. But that's not what Paul did. It was a full decade after Jesus' death that Paul first met Peter in Jerusalem. Then he went out, preaching and teaching his own gospel in Asia Minor for another 10 years before making a return trip to Jerusalem around 50 AD. It was only then, 20 years after the crucifixion, that Paul met the rest of the apostles for the first time. Paul did not preach the same thing as the 12 apostles, and there was constant friction between him and the Jerusalem church about one issue, in particular, the law. Tensions eventually boiled over and caused Peter and Paul to come to blows. When Peter visited Antioch, he clashed with Paul over whether or not Gentile Christians needed to uphold the law.
You heard it? Paul taught something totally different than what the 12 taught. Right? He don't meet up to with the rest of the apostles 20 years after the crucifixion of who we call Yahshua, Jesus. Right? Look. He meets up with them in the Jerusalem council, discusses with them privately what he teaching, unless he done ran in vain. Why he got to discuss privately what's coming off his mouth if he's sticking to the protocol that was given to him? He teaching something different. Paul was doing his own thing. And y'all, this is something the scholars have been known. This ain't that new. Let's go.
We only get to hear Paul's side of the story, of course. But if we take his epistle at its word, the two men came to an agreement. Paul would go forth as an apostle to the Gentiles, while Peter would preach to the circumcised. But there was a problem there. The agreement, which Paul speaks of, contradicts the book of Acts, which states that Peter, not Paul, was chosen by God to minister to the Gentiles.
Not only that, at the what we call the resurrection, what you call the resurrection, Messiah had already told them, go out into the world, teaching everything that I commanded you. Go out into the nations. They already had Gentile protocol. So even him saying that he's the one ordained to teach the Gentiles was false, because at the resurrection, Mashiach send them out, and this is according to the biblical narrative. Mashiach send them out. All you gotta do is read Mark 16 and Matthew 28. He told them, go out into the world, teaching them everything that I commanded you, baptizing them like this, that, and the third. You see what I'm saying? So they already was on the mission from the resurrected Messiah. Hey, go handle that business amongst the nations. So they already had protocol. They didn't need Paul to come skipping around and start doing his own thing. You feel me? They already was out there doing it. You see that? See, all you gotta do is slow down. Why is there so much contention with dude? You know what I mean? Yeah, Bishop X, hey, it's starting to look like who Paul ran into was the same one Constantine ran into. We all know, you know, even if we don't even got a waspy on the table, we all know that Christianity is inspired by a false god. Everybody knows that. Everybody outside of Christianity, for the most part, knows that's a false god. It's the reason why Israelites say they don't worship the same God as the Christians, but got the same book. So it's looking like the same one that hollered at Constantine is the one that hollered at Paul. It's the same system and order, same setup. You know what I mean? But regardless of who it is, the message should be the same. Why would Paul's message why would the Messiah's message to Paul be different than what he told the apostles? What people gonna say, because Paul was an apostle of the Gentiles. So what are 12 apostles? They was already out amongst the Gentiles teaching. Peter and Cornelius, Acts chapter 10. They already was out there. They were commissioned to go out at the resurrection, go out into the world. See, Paul was, if anything, if Paul was sincere, he'd have joined on to what the 12 were already doing and asked where he could be used the most at. Like, wherever y'all need help at, point me in the direction. This will be teaching. I'm rocking. He ain't do that though. He ain't do that. You know what I mean? And I know it's hard to fathom, but really, had not all this been in his letters, you dig, none of this would be known. Let's go.
In Acts chapter 15, verse 7, Peter said, "Brothers, you know that some time ago God made a choice among you that the Gentiles might hear from my lips the message of the gospel and believe." Nevertheless, Paul claimed to have a different gospel than Peter and the other apostles, the gospel of the uncircumcised, a gospel which he didn't receive from any man, nor was he taught it. His gospel came purely from revelation.
And that's funny to me. The gospel of the uncircumcision. That's funny. I bet you ain't get that from no man. Nobody in Yahshua's camp taught the gospel of the uncircumcision. Come on, man. All you got to do is slow down.
And therefore couldn't be verified by anyone as truthful. And yet, Paul's new gospel split the religion of Christianity into two distinct confessions, one rooted in Judaism and a version tailored for the Gentiles. Concluding this chapter of Galatians, Paul argues that his way is the correct way, because even though Jesus said, "Not everyone who says to me, 'Lord, Lord,' will enter the kingdom of heaven, but only the one who does the will of my Father." Paul taught that salvation comes not by works, but by faith alone. "For through the law I died to the law, so that I might live for God. I have been crucified with Christ, and I no longer live, but Christ lives in me. The life I now live in the body, I live by faith in the Son of God, who loved me and gave himself for me. I do not set aside the grace of God, for if righteousness could be gained through the law, Christ died for nothing." Paul's depiction of Jesus as a divine savior perfectly suited the Gentiles, who disliked the law and adored stories of myth. People from a polytheistic culture who regarded holy figures as deities. Perhaps this explains the origin of a controversial claim, how Jesus became God. Today, virtually all Christians accept Jesus as the human embodiment of God, one part of a holy trinity. But it wasn't always like that. The early Christians were not in agreement on this point. In fact, up until the 4th century, Christians fell into two camps: those who believed Jesus to be a divine messenger of God, and those who believed that Jesus was both fully human and fully God. How did these radically different understandings of Jesus evolve? Perhaps the best way to solve this mystery is to take a look at the words of Jesus. Did Jesus ever call himself God? The answer: not even once. Jesus said there is only one God, and it isn't him. He famously asked, "Why do you call me good? No one is good except God alone." And Jesus warned against those who deified him, saying, "But in vain they do worship me, teaching for doctrines the commandments of men." He also differentiates himself from God numerous times throughout the Bible. In the book of John, Jesus says, "By myself I can do nothing. I judge only as I hear, and my judgment is just. For I seek not to please myself, but him who sent me." And he also says, "For I did not speak on my own, but the Father who sent me commanded me to say all that I have spoken." If Jesus never called himself God, how did he become known as God? The Pauline epistles are sprinkled with statements conflating Jesus with God. Paul refers to Christ, who is God overall, in Romans chapter 9 verse 5, and in Titus chapter 2 verse 13, our God and Savior Jesus. It seems like a blatant contradiction, but perhaps it suited Paul's grand agenda to misguide people. If people are worshiping Jesus as God, they are associating others with him, undercutting the very foundation of monotheism. Not only did he call Christ God, he revamped Christ's image. If Jesus was God, he couldn't be seen as an ordinary man. He had to be seen as celibate. If you know anything about Jesus today, it's that Jesus, unlike all the messengers before and after him, was supposedly celibate. But what exactly do the scriptures say? The answer is absolutely nothing. The Gospels never specify whether Jesus was married or unmarried. The idea that celibacy was somehow superior to marriage came entirely from Paul. In 1 Corinthians chapter 7 verse 7, Paul wrote, "I wish all were single, just as I am." To help prevent the desire to be married, Paul said, "It is good that a man should not touch a woman." Paul's sexual asceticism came to shape and color the Christian faith as we know it today. Celibacy is practiced by Roman Catholic priests and nuns. But where did Paul get this stance from? It certainly wasn't Jesus, because as Paul admitted,
Man, that he say it's good for a man not to touch a woman. I don't know what world that man was living in or what mission, but listen to me, boy. Ain't listen to me, ain't a more beautiful creation that I've witnessed, you know what I mean, than a nice, marvelous, calm, balanced, walking in her purpose, just glow pouring out of her pores. You understand? Just smell fire a woman, right? So what is he talking about? Maybe that was the problem, boy. You need to, get you some loin jihad going on or something, boy. You need to learn how to relax, relieve some of that tension. Hell, you mean it's good for a man not to touch a woman? And that's how we all got here. Even you semen retention, the semen retention celibate community. Everybody got here from not retaining semen, not being celibate. That's not how you got here. You got here through loin jihad. Yeah, loin jihad. You know what I mean? Pops was trying to drill something. Yeah, you mean, man. I'm just saying, man. You gotta watch. You gotta watch the goofies, man. Certain things should be red flags. Yeah, you mean?
himself, "I have no command of the Lord, but I give my opinion as one who..."
Look what he tell you. He said, "I'm not even saying thus saith the Lord. I have no command of the Lord, but I give my opinion as one who by the Lord's mercy is trustworthy." Oh, Paul, you over on your Saul of Tarsus, just making up dogma and come on, man. Come on, man. We got to do better. We got to do better, man. All right. If y'all get some understanding so far, go ahead and drop some 9,000s in the chat, man. Let's jump to it. Shout out to Black Royal Family TV. My brother, Sula Shalom, a.k.a. Reality, had me on a couple of days. Last Friday? I think it was. Friday just passed. And we was discussing this very topic, Saul of Tarsus. You know what I mean? And it was a very, very excellent build. Very, very excellent. Cal, see, I dropped in the chat, in the Facebook Messenger chat we got. I dropped the link if y'all want to hop on. It's all good. Very excellent build though with the brother. Once again, shout out to Black Royal Family TV. Y'all get over there. Y'all like, subscribe, share, man. Brother doing some major league things. And you know, we set it on fire. You know how we do. We set it on fire. And but toward the end, some of my pictures wasn't on my document, and I realized afterwards that's because I was supposed to be showing the PDF. They in the PDF. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna go ahead and show, you know, some of this. I just figured we get on here and really examine this cat. Like, is he friend or foe? You know what I mean? Is he rocking with the 12 or not? And then once you get your answer on which way he moving, then you as an individual gotta make a decision on either I'm rocking with him or I'm not. You dig? That's it. It ain't, you know, it ain't too much of nothing. It ain't too much of, you know, whatever decision you make is the decision you make. But you gotta ask yourself. You gotta ask yourself, am I really rocking with this messianic movement like I thought? Or am I following the apparition and vision of a man who never met him and came around doing his own thing? You know what I mean? Love, light, balance to everybody in the chat. All praises to the creator of suns and moons and stars. All praises to the creator, the God maker, whose magnitude is incomprehensible and whose presence is everywhere. It's your love brother, Malaki Macabee. We about to talk about it today, man. Let's talk a little taste. You did. But man, long story short, man, I had fun over there with the bro on Black Royal Family TV. My brother Sheila Shalom, my brother and your brother. You did. And I'm sure y'all support it, man. Oh, hold on. I got them from C-Line. I said, boy, you gotta let me get that, bro. You know I got some rock, man. What they talking about, okay? You gotta let the hammer rock out with that now. You gotta let the hammer rock out with that, you know what you say. Y'all drop some borders in the chat if y'all like that vibe. It's all good, you and me. Wait. In the building, man. All right. Good vibe. Yeah, that deal go hard. I don't know nothing about this. Well, man, what you mad about, man? Step on in. Yeah. It ain't nothing but some info. It either resonate with you or don't, man. Yeah. Also, share that one thing. We got us a new book out, you feel me? Endurance to Determination, the Practical Guide on Constant Depression and Trauma by yours truly, Malaki Macabee. Darkness to Determination. Out in hardcover, paperback, and ebook formats on Amazon. Purchase links are in the description. Already in the description of the video. All you gotta do is go on down there and do your thing, man. You dig, take back control. You know what I mean? Take the bull by the horns in your life. Yeah, you ain't a victim of none of your traumas, your past experiences, your thoughts, none of that. Yeah, you just gotta switch your perspective and get in hunt mode for the day. Don't play victim. You know what I mean? If anything, I'm on the hunt. You know what I mean? So this is a practical guide on conquering depression and trauma. So as soon as you start reading, you can apply what you're gonna learn today. You know what I mean? No matter what religion, ethnicity, whatever it may be, everybody deal with that. Everybody deal with mental health. Everybody deal with depression, dark spots in your mind. You know what I mean? Some are victims and some ain't. So, you know what I mean? I figure I'd provide something to the masses that will help the masses. You understand? And it's affordable. Like the ebook is $10, $9.99. The paperback is $19.99. And the hardcover is $39.99. You know what I mean? And that's only because it costs more to print the hardcover than to do. So you gotta make a little something. Hey, made it affordable. Then y'all swoop on through, snatch your copies. You know what I mean? Frisbee them deals out there. They did CGG, credit gang in the building, man. This is life for life. We are working. And let's get into this right here, man. Let's get into good old Saul of Tarsus. I'm about to go over some of the things that I did to show on Black Royal Family TV with the pictures I did. So I went and pulled the PDF up. You know what I mean? The first thing you want to examine is Paul's understanding of Saul's doctrine when it comes to dietary, what to eat. What to eat. You know what I mean? Slow roll with a little taste. And shout out to the haters, jaw jackers, and naysayers. There's a lot of y'all outside. You dig? But if you really want to get down, all you got to do is address the scriptures that we address. And be like, yeah, it say that, right? You know how to read it, but it doesn't mean it. You dig? That's all you got to do is point and counterpoint. You do it. Look, if anybody that don't like what I'm saying, do that. Like, take this whole guy. I sent it out after I debated to Zoryak and who was that? Pola Rizzo. They sent it out. And if you don't got this doc, you can get it. Ain't no thing. You need to debunk every spot I go to, point, counterpoint. Like, instead of Acts chapter 1 being the requirement for being an apostle, and you need to go there and show that's actually not the requirement. And then go show what is the requirement. You feel me? That's the only way I can take anybody serious about any of this. That other than that, it's just emotion. Because majority of the spots I met is what? Paul's letters. Paul's letters. All right, so we first want to examine, how does Paul feel about the Nazarene dietary law, or the dietary law that the apostles followed? You know what I mean? That's what's up, y'all. All praise. It's all good, y'all. Now let's examine some of this. All right, let me stop time. Let everybody see. Ain't no thing to slow down. Not for us. Put it right there. I wish we had to see it. All right, so let's get into it, man. Let's go ahead and really, you understand? Let's go ahead and really eat. drop that down just a little bit, y'all. All right, where we at? Look at this. How does Saul feel about the Nazarene dietary law? Or the dietary law of the apostles? How do they eat? Here we go. All right, how does Saul feel about the Nazarene apostles' dietary law? Amplified Bible. And yes, I go to different versions so the English will read a little clearer for modern folk. And a lot of us don't know nothing about Victorian English, and wearing rouge, and putting on wigs and high platform shoes, and you know what I mean? We don't know nothing about being a pilgrim, or we don't know about that. You know what I mean? So ain't nothing wrong with going to different versions if the old English don't hit right for you. That's all I'm saying. The old Victorian English don't hit right, go to a different version. You can understand it. All right? Now look what it says in the Amplified Bible. This is Saul of Tarsus, regarding meat offered to idols. So this is what this is about. All right? Eat anything that is sold in the meat market. Eat anything that is sold in the meat market. Eat anything that is sold in the meat market without asking any questions for the sake of your conscience. Saul of Tarsus. 1 Corinthians 10 and 25. So for y'all that don't know, the Apostle Paul, his real handle or real so-called moniker is Saul of Tarsus. He became Saul in Acts 13. You know what I mean? He took dude's name. He converted him to his form of Christianity and took his name. That's how he became Paul. Yeah, that's Acts 13. You know what I mean? But so whenever you see Saul of Tarsus, that's the Apostle Paul. Everybody running around here. The one responsible for Galatians, Corinthians, Ephesians, all that, right? So it says right here, it says, he basically saying, even when it comes to meats offered to idols, you can eat anything that's sold at the grocery store. Don't matter. You see? Now look at this. As opposed to a true apostle of who we call Yeshua, right? James, his actual brother, a lot of folks don't know. Look at this, Acts 15:13. And after they had held their peace, James answered them saying, men and brethren, listen unto me, hearken unto me. That's Acts 15 and 13. So they're at Jerusalem Council, and it's thousands of Nazarenes in the building. Scenes of Nazarenes, thousands. You know what I mean? Up on that Temple Mount, thousands. And James stands up, and everybody got to listen. You understand? And get quiet. This is Yeshua's brother. A lot of people don't know that. Look what he commands Paul in Acts 15:29. That you abstain from meats offered to idols. See, that's one of the commandments that went forth from Jerusalem. You know what I mean? That is taught amongst the Gentile nations is dietary law. Y'all got to get them temples together. Y'all been there eating all types of gator meat, squid, eating all types of dog. And for one, it's not offered or prepared how the Torah say. That's for one. And for two, you damn sure that alligator got his head chopped off in the name of Diana of Ephesus. So what you mean is you can go to the store and just buy whatever kind of meat? No, that ain't that. That was never the doctrine. That was never the understanding. Paul, you actually was told to abstain from meats offered to idols and teach the Gentiles to do the same. You feel me? So eat whatever you want at the grocery store or at the slaughterhouse, y'all, and abstain from meats offered to idols are two different doctrines. It's not the same doctrine. Paul's saying you can eat whatever you want to eat when you go to the grocery store amongst the Gentile nations in which where we at. James is saying don't eat it. Abstain from it. So there's dietary law in the Messianic movement. You ain't just out here eating gator meat, squid. having you a seafood broil. We ain't doing none of that. Right? So if you understand just on surface level, we ain't even dug that deep yet. But if you understand on surface level that to eat anything sold in the meat market and abstaining from meats offered to idols, if you understand those are two different doctrines, drop a 1,000 in the chat. We'll slow you down. That's it. Slow you down. All right? It ain't hard to understand. James commands Saul to follow the same orders that he's supposed to teach the Gentiles. How does Saul respond to the doctrine he has been commanded to preach and live by? 1 Corinthians 10, 23 and 25. All things are lawful for me, but all things are not exclusive. All things are lawful for you. Okay. All things are lawful for me, but all things edify not. By Saul claiming all things is lawful for him, he is saying he is free from James's commands given to him in Jerusalem. Remember, James just told him he got abstaining from it too. Don't just teach the Gentile. In other words, you got to practice what you preach. Here comes Saul talking about all things are lawful for me. Who told you that? And where is that in Torah? Is that in Torah anywhere? Is that amongst the apostles? Do they say all things are lawful? That's the purpose of having what we call the Torah. Yeah, to separate the clean from the unclean, I thought, right? The holy from the profane, right? But what do you mean all things are lawful for you? Where are you getting this idea from? Who told you that? He gonna say it's visiting Jesus. His vision that he can't seem to get right. Look at this, verse 25, 1 Corinthians 10, 25. Whatsoever is sold in the shambles, that eat, asking no question for conscience sake. Saul boldly tells the assembly in Corinth that they are free to eat whatever they desire. Look at the Good News translation, same verse, 1 Corinthians 10 and 25. You are free to eat anything sold in the meat market. Where is he getting this from? Where is he getting this from? That's all I'm asking. Is this in the Torah anywhere? Is this, did Yeshua tell the apostles this? Where is he getting eat whatever the hell you want to eat when you go to the store? Don't ask me no more questions about it. I mean, no, he ain't teaching the dietary. He ain't. Because you already been told to abstain from meats offered to idols. And Gentiles worship idols, especially in them days. So you best believe all those animals that were slaughtered under the inspiration of an idol god. You are free to eat anything sold in the meat market. Where is he getting these ideas from? Without asking any questions because of your conscience, Saul of Tarsus, 1 Corinthians 10, 25. There goes James again. That you abstain from meats offered to idols. James, the just, the brother of Yeshua. See, it hit different when you know that's little brother. You know that's little brother, and you best believe whatever James was, that's how Yeshua rocked. They were brothers. They lived in this place. Come on, right? Whole family was with him. John, their cousin, you feel me? Yeshua, Yaakov or James, Shimon, Simon, all these are brothers. Judah, got a brother named Judah, Joseph, Simon, James. I ain't gonna listen. Got some sisters. You know what I mean? So you best believe whatever was James the righteous or James the just. Yaakov Hazedek, Jacob the righteous, the little brother of Yeshua. Oh, you don't even know Yeshua straight got family out this deal, man. And sisters. You know what I mean? Like, what the hell is really going on? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This is looking like, I mean, even Paul admitted that his brothers is his apostles. Paul admitted it real quick, but he admitted it. Talking to my brother Elijah 7. You know what I mean? I guess like, dang, bro, what we really been examining. Look at this word. Look at it. It's not the same thing. He tried to clear it up in 1 Corinthians 8, but it's still not what the scripture says it is. It is clear what Saul of Tarsus feels about the Nazarene dietary law. How does a true apostle, such as Shimon Kephas, Peter, feel about the food restrictions? Now you got to get your shelf game up. Now you got to go get other first century writings. You know what I mean? That align with what James was given. That was a directive he gave Paul. That was a directive for the overseas community. That was sympathetic toward their cause. See, you under the same measure of discipline, whether you homeborn Judean or whether you a Gentile or sympathetic for the cause. You up under the same discipline. You up under the same discipline. Ain't no difference. You see? This right here is out the anti or pre-Nicene Christian library. All right? Or what's called the Clementine Homilies. Some call them the Nazarene Acts of the Apostles. The Golden Rule. Now this right here is Peter. This is Homily 7. All right? We're going to jump down to the Golden Rule. Now how does Peter teach anything close to what Paul is saying? Eat anything you want? Like, why would you even phrase your response like that? If you wasn't trying to undermine these brothers, you just was given a directive to teach this to them and you live by it too. He get out there and say you free to eat whatever you want. It won't matter. Matter of fact, that's a doctrine of the devil. Look what Peter said. All right, first century writings, Peter. Look what he said. Wherefore, as then you were deceived by the forerunner Simon. This right here is Simon the magician, Simon Magus in Acts chapter 8. Peter, battle dude, all the way to Rome in this writing. It's a good read. It said right here, wherefore, as then you were deceived by the forerunner Simon, and so became dead in your souls to God, and were smitten in your bodies. This is what Peter is saying. So now, if you repent, turn away from it, right? As I said, and submit to those things which are well pleasing to God, you may get new strength to your bodies. Look at this. And recover your souls. What hell? These brothers was their saints. Right? They knew all about the healing and how, look, they ate a certain way and they knew about the plants and all that. Now that, use the plants to heal it. See? This deal about your health. Health is very, very important. Your spirit is attached to your health. Yeah. Health is very important. A wasp even tell you the book of inspiration. What charges your blood charges your spirit. And whatever you eat gets right into your bloodstream. Heavy in spirit, you might want to lay off all the animal sandwiches and the things that are clogging thou. Look at this. He said right here. He say, you may get new strength to your bodies and recover your soul's health. And the things which are well pleasing. And the things which are well pleasing. Check this out, y'all. And the things that are well pleasing to God are these. Pray to him. Ask from him, recognizing that he is the giver of all things and gives with discriminating law. To abstain from the table of devils. Not to taste dead flesh. That's what Peter is saying. Peter is saying, look, you really want to vibrate, get off from animal sandwiches. You shouldn't eat no flesh. James said it too. Abstain from the meats offered to idols. And if you don't know what makes flesh offered to idols, you shouldn't be eating it anyway. You don't even know that according to the Bible you hold on dearly to, it tell you that the flesh got to be sacrificed a certain way. If not, it's considered devil food. It's Leviticus. But look what Peter tell me. So Peter followed what James was saying. He taught it. You see, these are some of the pictures I ain't get to show. You know what I mean? On Black Warrior Family. Shout out to Black Warrior Family. See, Peter tell you don't even eat the flesh. Look, not eating flesh is well pleasing to your mate. You abstain from the table of devils, not to taste dead flesh, not to touch blood, to be washed from all pollution. Let's do another one. Somebody better tell these young boys that I do this. See again. Same homily, chapter 8, the service of God's appointment. And this is the service he has appointed, to worship him only. Trust only in the prophet of truth. Baptized for the remission of sins, and thus by this pure baptism be born again unto God by saving water. To abstain from the tables of devils. That is. What is the table of devils, Malachi? That is from food offered to idols. From dead what carcasses? That's dead flesh. From animals which have been suffocated or caught by wild beasts, and from blood. As anyone can see, Peter, a true apostle, doesn't teach to eat whatever is sold at the meat markets. Peter actually teaches not to eat dead flesh. Chewing on an animal sandwich, one and the same as eating at the table of devils. If y'all understand that, drop some 3,000s in the chat for the Ark Cycle, man. Drop a 3,000 in the chat for the Cosmon Ark Cycle, for the Ark Cycle of Cosmon, man. What we talking about? Yeah, see, a lot of some of the stuff that was missing, bro. I wasn't able to show it. See that? 3,000 for the Cosmon Ark Cycle, man. Y'all know CGG. Look, y'all, we do this. Stuff easy, man. We have fun doing this type of stuff. We have fun, man. So we look at the more we talk about these things, the easier it gets. It's like, look what he said. True, that's me adding to it, but he did say it. The table of devils. Part of eating at the table of devils is chewing on dead flesh. Dead flesh is part of eating at the table of devils. I can hear you now. You get the stuttering like a hose. What about the Passover, Malachi? Y'all really got to get y'all shelf game up, man. You understand? Like y'all like 4 years late. You're like 4 years late in this thing, man. Ain't nobody came to debunk nothing. Like, what you mean? Who? There ain't nobody even dug this deep. Not in the conscious community. Nobody even dug this deep. Showing you Paul's on letter. Look what dude said. Showing you the anti-Nicene or the pre-Nicene writings. You got Peter and them in there like, man, look, we don't eat food off of idols. We don't sit at the table with devils. And that consists of eating dead flesh. See? And Paul was teaching something totally different. He's teaching something totally different. The crazy part about it, the majority of some billions of souls who have came and gone in the past 2,000 years believe as so-called adherents to Christianity, y'all, and all those billions of souls have been following Saul of Tarsus, Paul, a man that never met him, a man that was at odds with his family. Come on, bro. Eventually you gotta be solid with yourself. You're like, yeah, that don't even sound right. You know what I mean? There ain't nothing wrong with that. That's the problem. You think your nuts gonna roast forever because you start getting critical when you're thinking. You dig? And there's nothing wrong with that. How the hell else you expect to grow and do your thing? You're not. You know what I'm saying? Sitting there being a robot, bumping your head. And really, most of the people that's in any of these movements, whether it be Israelitism or Christianity or whatever, most people are just followers. It's only the minority that's like leading the pack, that's on the front line and all that. Most niggas is just followers, parents. You just repeating what you heard. Your elders say. You ain't being critical. You ain't getting in your bag. You ain't sharpening your sword. I mean, you ain't cleaning out that strap you got. You just, you know what I mean, out here on a whim. Come on, man. Eventually, you gotta be real with yourself. Be solid like that. Feel me? And then we figure out ways to go ahead and get this out here to the masses. You dig? Especially in this day and age, man, where all your gods are falling, man. Your Billy Carlsons, your Lord Jamars, all your little celebrities are snitches or on some weird 1,000 bottles of damn baby oil or murder for hire plots. You dig? All your gods fall. From the conscious community up to the entertainment. Here you got the gang right here. Listen to me. Would have never got caught out there like that. You don't even realize how deep we, like when it's on. I mean, man, we look, there ain't nobody else more focused than us. Let's look at Peter, the apostle's died. He just described what eating at the table of the devil is. And described chewing on animal sandwiches as part of eating at the table of devils or eating food sacrificed to idols. Right? So we're gonna walk you on down so you can see what's what. Alright, so now I'm getting closer to it. Hold on, y'all. Alright, right here. Alright, so this is homily 12. Page 195, you got the Clementine literature. Look what Peter said. And y'all, this is right here on my computer. Look what Peter, this is how Peter is. He said, however, such a choice has occurred to you, perhaps without you understanding or knowing my manner of life. So he telling Clement, like, man, dude, I ain't never met nobody like you. Bro, you dedicated. He like, look, you don't understand or know my manner of life. Let me show you how real this is. He say that I use only bread and olives, and rarely pot herbs, veggies. You gotta hear how this man eat? He eating bread, olives, and vegetables. After he just told you that eating at the table with the devil got to do with chewing on flesh or eating food off of the idols. See? So the very same thing James told Paul. He said, look, teach them to abstain from meats offered to idols, from dead flesh and all that, and you need to buy it too. Same thing he told Paul. You see Peter follow. Peter taught what eating at the table of the devil is, which includes eating on dead flesh, right? And his personal diet is bread, olives, and vegetables. If y'all understand that, drop a 4,000 in the chat. Now, we ain't playing. But you came, but you think you playing? Look what he say. He's saying that this is my only coat and cloak which I wear. Man, I got the clothes on my back. Man, you really want to know how dedicated I am? I eat bread, olives, and occasional vegetables. And the clothes you see on my back is the only thing I own. I don't own nothing else. Out here. Huh? Out here like an ancient Zarathustra. We have to go live amongst the less fortunate. Yeah. Y'all see how Peter eats. Live a simple life, man. You ain't have no whole closet full of Jordans and You know what I mean? A whole bunch of fancy wardrobes and all that. And he's in the mud. Yeah, this ain't for the pretty boys. I mean, he the highest spiritual cat around him. You dig? And he come through simple. Huh? Come through simple. Highest spiritual grade around him. And he don't even come through boastful. This man eat bread and olives and occasional vegetables, and the clothes you see on his back is the only thing he owns. You complaining about what now? Okay. Let's keep going. It get better. Let's look at James, the brother of Messiah, and how he ate. What source are you going to? Malaki, Nicene, and post-Nicene. Hold on. So, dang, Macabee, you went and got the ante or the pre-Nicene writings, right? First, second, third century. Then you got the Nicene era, huh? And the post-Nicene era. Yeah, you dug deep. Yeah. Nah. You'll never catch me with my flank open. Never. You gotta be willing to not go buy them clothes and go buy these books. Dig down. You gotta be willing to forego impressing this little swivel hip broad and get your knowledge up, get your shelf game up. That way you can really see what's going on. But right now, cats look goofy, man. Sometimes I just sit back, shake my head. I pity a lot of brothers now. I be hearing they talking points and all that, bro. I can't do nothing but shake my head. Like, bro, you really all behind. You don't know this yet? Look at this. That's my actual book. Hold up. Let's go see how James get out. According to Jerome and Gennadius, Lives of Illustrious Men. All right. Look what Jerome writes about what they learned about James in their day. There you go. Oh yeah, by the way, the Apostle Peter didn't write the book of 2 Peter. Try again. Just to let y'all know that. All right, right here, James. And then we'll show you that Peter ain't right. 2 Peter is just that man. Peter shouting out Paul. 2 Peter wasn't written to the mid-2nd century, and if Peter lived during the 1st century or maybe even before that, you know. Who is this writing in 150, 135 of the Common Era? That's when 2 Peter was written. Look at it. Look what Jerome said 1,600 years ago about James. Oh, I think I got to zoom in. Hold on. I got to zoom in. Yeah, right there. Look at this. All right, this is about James, the brother of who we call Yeshua. All right. So James, who's called the brother of the Lord, surnamed the Just, the son of Joseph. They say by another wife. I tend to disagree, but you know, we'll get into that later. Now look at this right here. Agesippus, who lived near the apostolic age, in the 5th book of his commentaries, writing of James. So Agesippus was supposed to live close to the 1st century, but they call the apostolic age. That's what they say, right? In the 5th book of his commentaries, writing of James, says, after the apostles, James, the brother of the Lord, surnamed the Just, was made head of the church at Jerusalem. Many indeed are called James or Jacob, y'all. James and Jacob is the same name. Yaakov. This James was holy from his mother's womb. That means he was a Nazarite. To be separated from your mother's womb, to be holy from your mama's womb, mean you are Nazir. Yeah, you Nazir, you Nazarite. This one was holy from his mama's womb. Look what he did. He drank neither wine nor strong drink. Ate no flesh. What is we talking about here, man? Well, Peter don't eat flesh. James, the brother of Yeshua, don't eat flesh. Paul say, eat that gator meat if you want it, my nigga. You all good. It don't matter. I ate no flesh, never shaved. So remember that. That means these brothers had long hair. I mean, they had long hair then, Jack. What did we tell about it? Huh? Paul got to rock with the long hair too. Brothers was Nazarites, man. Nazarite, dedicated. Whole family part of it. You know what I mean? These brothers don't drink wine, strong drink. They don't eat animals. They don't shave, which means if you want to know what they look like, look at, shout out to our West Indian brothers, our Caribbean brothers. You know what I mean? Trinidad, Tobago, Jamaica. You know what I mean? Salute the not the dreadhead, man. You really want to know what these brothers look like, look at the rosters. That's what the brothers look like. Probably scared the Paul probably blew his drawers out when he came up there and saw all these brothers. Damn, they probably had a heart attack. Dang! Never shaved or anointed himself with ointment or bathed. I don't know about not bathing, you know what I mean? Unless y'all talking about hot baths. Because we know the saints them to cold baths every morning. Cold baths. Maybe that's talking about, you know, like the hot baths of the Roman aristocracy or something. But if y'all peep, James and Peter are what you call today vegetarians. They both taught and lived by this way of life when it came to the dietary law. If y'all understand that, drop some 5,000s in the chat, man. We slow roll. We'll slow you down. Slow you down. Easy work. Easy work. Let me go back up here and show y'all Peter too. You know, some people think that Peter was shouting Paul out. It's like, man, y'all really got to catch up. That's because we ain't being critical no more of what we looking at. You understand? We'll come back to that second Peter. I want to keep the vibe right here, showing you the families and how they got down. I'm going to keep the vibe right here. Next source we're going to go to is the Gospel of the Nazarenes. All right, so we already went to the Acts of the Nazarenes or the Clementine literature. We went to the, which is anti-Nicene. We went to the Nicene and post-Nicene literature. Right? Now we're in the Gospel of the Nazarenes. All right? We're going to see. We're just going to walk it down. Who Paul really got a problem? So when Paul saying eat anything, these brothers didn't live like that. And the Torah don't say it. So who is Paul boldly proclaiming all things are lawful for him and eat whatever the hell you want to eat? Is Paul teaching what James told him to teach, or is he teaching something different? Put a 1 in the chat if Paul and James teach the same thing. Paul, Peter, and James teach the same thing. Put a 2 in the chat if Paul teaches opposite of the apostles. This is just one doctrine, one topic, which got to do with the food, the flesh. See that? See that? To abstain from meats offered to idols, that is, like Peter say, not to taste dead flesh, right? And then go on to say, dealing with Paul, eat whatever is sold in the shambles, eat whatever is sold at the meat markets without asking questions for conscience sake. I know you've been taught not to eat it, but I'm saying you can eat it. It don't matter. All right, so let's get into the family. All right. Gospel of the Nazarenes, the Immaculate Conception of Jesus the Nazarene. Good Lord. what is really going on? Right here, verse 6 going into 7. Right here, chapter 2, verse 7. Look at Miriam and Messiah were Nazarites. Therefore, you shall keep your covenant. This is what the angel was telling Miriam. Therefore, you should keep your covenant to eat no flesh, nor drink strong drink. For this child should be filled with the Holy Spirit, consecrated to the Lord, a Nazarite from his mother's womb. And neither flesh nor strong drink shall he take, nor shall a razor touch his head. So we know not only through saying Miriam is told through her pregnancy, remember your vow. Remember, stand on not eating no flesh, drinking the wine, strong drink, you dig? And trip off this. This child is going to be dedicated, right? And he's going to have long hair, because a razor never touches it. Paul do got a problem with the brothers with long hair, don't they? Don't they? Right here. Let's go to chapter 5. Gospel of the Nazarene. Go show this. Y'all gonna like this one. 5 and 21. Look at this. And the Lord said, this is about when they came up out of Egypt. Out of Egypt have I called my son, who shall be called the Nazarene. And he arose and took the young child and his mother and came into the land of Israel. He is Joseph. Right? And they came and dwelt in the place called Nazareth, which dwelt Nazarites. Where dwelt Nazarites and the saints. He was called the Nazarene. Nazarite and the same mixed together makes Nazarene. See that? Dang. It also came to pass in the second year of Jesus' life, a second son was born to Joseph and Mary. That's why I say I don't know about all that Joseph with another wife. It's looking like this was the family. A second son was born to Joseph and Mary. His name was called who? James, meaning one who is just and righteous before the Lord. One who is of the true Israel. Y'all see that? As with Yeshua and Yahukanah, John the Baptist. As with Yeshua and Yahukanah, he, James, was consecrated unto the Lord, a Nazarite from his mother's womb. According to the way, y'all see that? They line up with the history we just read from Jerome and Canadians. The whole family. Look, you got Jesus, you got John, you got James, you got Mary. Miriam, Yeshua, Yehukanan, Yaakov. They all Nazarites. They all got an oath not to eat flesh or drink blood or go to war, none of it. And a razor has never touched their head. Remember that. Not only are they veggie, not only are they plant-based, but they walking around here with some long, knotty locks. Long. Remember that as we keep reading, because Paul ends up having what? A problem with those with long hair. Who Paul talking about? You talking about everything that the apostles stand on. Totally against. In later years, they would have 3 more sons. Look at that, y'all. Judah, Justice, and Simeon. And also 2 daughters, Asia and Lydia. Asia 1 and 19. Mark 16 and 1, Mark 6 and 3, Matthew 15 and Matthew 13 and 55. Besides brothers and sisters, it was 7. It was a family of 7. Plus Joseph and Mary, that's 9. See that? And they all live the same way. You want to know what Yeshua really was on? Just look at what James was on. Right in your face with it. So look, based off the ancient testimonials of Jerome, 4th century of the Common Era, Hegesippus, 1st and 2nd centuries of the Common Era, James, the brother of Yeshua, was a Nazarite and a vegetarian. He didn't chew on animals, drink wine, strong drink, or allow the raven to touch his head. The Gospel of the Nazarenes says the same thing. Peter the Apostle, according to the Nazarene Acts of the Apostles, homily 12, chapter 6, was a vegetarian also. We just read all that. Now we know who Saul of Tarsus is calling weak. True apostles. Romans 14:2, Amplified Bible. One man's faith permits him to eat everything. What faith is that? What, being a Catholic? Being a Catholic? Whose faith allows him to eat whatever the hell he wants? One man's faith permits him to eat everything, while the weak believer eats only vegetables. Hey man, it's Paul. Something else I keep trying to tell y'all. Like, look, he's throwing shots. You know what I mean? Y'all, you think it's a coinky dink? You think it's a coincidence that everything he got a problem with the apostle stand on? And you still think he ain't talking about it? You still think that? How? One man's faith permits him to eat everything, while the weak believer eats only vegetables to avoid eating ritually unclean meat or something previously considered unclean. Saul of Tarsus, according to Paul, if you don't eat flesh, you a weak believer. But we just read James, and them didn't eat flesh, and Peter didn't eat flesh, and Messiah didn't eat flesh, and John didn't eat flesh. We got James in Acts 15 telling Paul, you abstain from it and teach them. We got Peter out there abstaining from it and teaching it. Which way we going? That's the decision you gotta make. You gotta make that decision. I can't make it for you. Now we know who Saul of Tarsus was talking about when he said that they teach doctrines of devils, that they command to abstain from meats. The true apostles, that you abstain from meats offered to idols. God, that's all you got to remember. He come and use this exact phrase. He just keep idols off of him. He already was told what to abstain from. Y'all, he wasn't prophesying about Malaki Macabee in 2025, telling y'all that y'all, look, it's best if you stay, if you get off that flesh. That's the best move for you. On every level, that's the best move for you. See that? Saul was already commanded to abstain from meats offered to idols by the chief apostle James the Just. Look what Paul says in 1 Timothy 4:1. Now the Spirit speaketh expressly that in the latter times some shall depart from the faith, giving heed to seducing spirits and doctrines of devils. All the nation of Israel just thought I was so seduced. Paul was talking about Malachi. No, Paul had already been checked and put under order by James about the meats. He ain't prophesying. You understand? He trying to save his ministry because he know he catching smoke. He telling Timothy, his understudy, like, look, man, niggas gonna fall out of this. You know what I'm saying? We going through too much. I'm going through all types of, you know what I mean, uphill battle trying to put this out. Yeah, because that ain't the protocol. You all out of box. You all out of box. And when the dust settled, guess who won? Paul. Rome gonna side with their boy. So remember, he's calling this a doctrine of devils. Remember that, a teaching of Satan, a demonic teaching. A demonic teaching telling you to stop eating dead animals. And you calling that demonic. Hey man, hey, do something else. You know what I mean? And then think about all the great men before, like what's the brother's name? Daniel the prophet. The Daniel fast everybody talk about. Daniel wasn't chewing on flesh. The king's meat Outshining everybody. Understand? Like going all the way back to the beginning. Judah Maccabee and them got off the cliff. Second Maccabees 5, 21 to 26. The temple was under attack. The altar was profaned. They had animals with them in the wilderness. They were a family of priests. But they know how to slaughter. But they still refuse to eat the flesh. Why? Because you need an altar in a temple. All that's under attack. Ain't no sacrificing going on. See what I'm saying? So in our case, that sucker definitely ain't there. So shit, nobody even be chewing on it. You know what I mean? The animals got to get ritualistically slaughtered a certain way and prepared, and blood drained, and all types of crazy stuff they got to do. You dig? Look at this. So he's calling what he's about to describe a doctrine of the devil. Right? Look at this. Speaking lies and hypocrisy, having a conscience seared with a hot iron. Don't forget, Saul already called James and Peter and those with them hypocrites. Y'all, that was in Galatians, the 2nd chapter. He said even Barnabas was carried away with their dissimulation / hypocrisy. So he already on record calling the apostles hypocrites. This is what he's talking about. First Timothy 4 and 3. The doctrine that he's calling a doctrine of devils is this: forbidding to marry and commanding to abstain from meats which God had created to be received. God created them animals to eat on. That's what he's saying. With thanksgiving of them which believe and know the truth. Now, how is this a prophecy if Saul already was commanded to abstain from meats? By James the Just. Sit your ass down somewhere. Also, according to Jerome, Hagesippus, and the Nazarene Gospels, Yeshua, his brother James, and his cousin John the Baptist, and his mother Miriam were all lifelong Nazarites. So that's according to the literature and the history. No chewing on animals, no strong drink, no wine, and guess what else, y'all? No haircuts. They all had long hair. Now we know who Saul was talking about when he claimed long hair was a disgrace to a man. The true apostles. Who else he talking about? How the hell he saying long hair is a disgrace and all the apostles over there on the Temple Mount got long hair? Especially the leaders. So even if you're not talking about him, you're talking about him. Because if the shoe fit what, you gotta wear it. Long hair is a disgrace, and I don't know, like, where is he getting this idea from? Is that in the Torah anywhere? Now, it's not Chet Samson had long hair. 7 locks. Where is Paul getting all this from? Who told him long hair was a disgrace? New Living Translation. Isn't it obvious that it's disgraceful for a man to have long hair? Saul of Tarsus. 1 Corinthians 11 and 14. Y'all, Paul is firing shots. He's against the apostles. Dietary. The haircuts. He against it. He ain't with what they got going on. Because Jesus came to him on the road to Damascus. You know what I mean? And switched up a few things according to him. And this is just what it is. It's just what it is. Let's go show some more of the family. You can always jump back up. But Paul, you were warned about him in Revelation, the 2nd chapter as well. Paul, I'm telling y'all, man, he had 12 disciples. Hey, dude was on one, man. You was warned about him, though. Those that claim they are apostles and are not, and have been found to be what? Liars. Revelation 2 and 2. I know all the things you do. I have seen your hard work and your patient endurance. I know that you don't tolerate. I know that you don't tolerate evil people. You examine the claims of those who say they are apostles and are not. You have discovered they are liars. Remember, an apostle was one that witnessed Yahshua going in and out from amongst the people, and witnessed his baptism, and witnessed his resurrection and ascension. Paul didn't witness none of that. So this is in the letter to the Ephesians in Revelations, the 2nd chapter. To the angel of the church of Ephesus, right? So when they was in Ephesus, they tried those who said they were apostles and found them to be liars. There was a trial in Ephesus. A lot of arguing going on about Paul and what he was talking about. And the assembly of Ephesus is commended for bringing a judgment on Paul and his crew as false apostles. Look at this. Well, who were the false apostles that Revelation was warning them about, that they were commended for, rebuking? They liars. Those are not apostles. New Living Translation. Look at this. This letter is from Paul, Silas, and Timothy. We are writing to the church in Thessalonica, to you who belong to God the Father and the Lord Jesus Christ. May God give you grace and peace. 1 Thessalonians 1:1. Saul of Tarsus, Silas, and Timothy, the false apostles. Very next chapter over. Look at this. And remember, Thessalonians was written. This is a letter from Paul, Silas, and Timothy. Okay? Very next chapter over. 1 Thessalonians 2:6. Nor do we seek glory and honor from people, neither from you nor from anyone else. Though as apostles of Christ, remember, this is a letter from Paul, Timothy, and Silas. As apostles of Christ, we had the power to assert our authority. Now, Paul was on record in Ephesians 1:1 saying, Paul, an apostle of Christ. And the assembly or the synagogue of Ephesus had a trial on those who were claiming to be apostles. But who the hell else was writing to the Ephesians or the assembly in Ephesus and was claiming to be an apostle? And had other men with him who were, I guess he named apostles. Nobody but Paul. Look at this. Saul of Tarsus and his Roman Herodian connection. Look at this. Salute Herodians, my kinsmen. Greet them that be of the household of Narcissus, which are in the Lord. Narcissus. Romans 16:11. Saul of Tarsus. Notice Saul is a relative of Herod the Great, the impostor Edomite king of Judah. Herodian, my kinsman. Y'all see that? See that? Paul, boy, I'm trying to tell you. Paul, something else. Watch this. Where you going next, Malachi? Put it right in your face. Parallel New Testament. Comparing 3 popular translations and parallel copies. So I heard the Millie Mouth Misfits 9, man. You know, that ain't his relative. Like Tazoriak. Oh, my, he looks so horrible. Like, I put that boy in a blender. Look, there ain't nobody in Bible with the name Herod that's not related to them. What are you talking about? Oh, that's just a certain Christian. You better duck about the kitchen, boy. It's hot. We're going to be going over the Peshitta, Syriac version, and the Eastern text. Let's go to Romans 16:11. What does Romans 16:11 say? And this is a parallel New Testament. Y'all can go get it. Get it for yourself. As the peace of Herodian, my who? My relative. My relative. Yeah, so Saul's related. Yes, he has some type of relation to the Herodian dynasty, which would make sense. Because who else can just skip up and go holler at the high priest and say, "Give me some letters of authority so I can go down here and start hunting these cats"? Man. Like, can anybody just skip up on the high priest and do this? A Roman appointed high priest? Hey, Elijah said it, man. Hey, man, you can't make it up, man. I done spent so long wrapping my head around this thing, looking at it from every angle. It's like, man, you know what I mean? At this point, you don't want to see it. But yeah, man. Yeah. All you got to do is just slow down. That's all anybody got to do, man. You slow down, you're going to see it. You're going to say, wow. So if y'all see, Paul is bloodline related. I know, no, he said he a Benjamite, he an Israelite. The Herodians were claiming to be Israelites too. I gotta count, look, use your mind, use your head. Paul wasn't the only one claiming to be an Israelite. You know what I mean? All the Herodians were claiming to be Israelites. They weren't claiming to be Edomites. Hey, good one for the car. I already do. Boy, all these names get the, and that's another thing, man. People act like it's only a pool of 10 names to choose from. Look who Tiberius Claudius Narcissus was, a free man who held significant influence over Emperor Claudius, essentially acting as his chief secretary and wielding considerable power within the imperial court. Shout out to the Cloud King Cosmo Cow, man. Y'all go like, subscribe, and share. Shout out to my brother Eliyahu, Spirited One Casey. Peace to the gang. What's the word on? My brother Abdiel, the mayor of the West Side. That's my bro right there. Try to tell you. Salute. Salute. Shit. You know what I mean? Check in and check out, man. Hey, look, bro. Eventually we going to have the convo, ain't we? We already had the conversation. You dig? I remember we ran down him at his shop. And look, it was on site. You know what I mean? And look, them scriptures came out. They couldn't deny none of it. And one of them is a prominent teacher. Shit, he's stuck. Dang. Pray the brother recover. He was sick not that long ago, man. Make credit, hey, you can take the bull by the horns, man, and really attack his health, get his health together. You gotta stop doing what you've been doing. That's it. You know what I mean? But I pray to preserve our brother, man. Real spill. But he remembered that year we ran down on them at the shop. And neither one of them had a response. None of them. They both admitted it. Sounds like we against the dietary law. Okay, you said not me. Well, I ain't tripping these. Yeah. Paul is bloodline related. You won't hear people cry and say, no, he said he a Benjamite. He said he an Israelite. So did Herod and them. His entire family were claiming to be Israel, y'all. But they weren't. That's the peace of Herodian, my relative. As for the peace of the sons of the house of Narcissus, or in our Lord. Boy, I tell you about this cat here, man. Yeah, you gotta watch that movie, man. And even whenever you get into I'm real deep into like spy movies and all that. You know what I mean? Man, they be straight inventing. They'll invent a whole character on paper. Call him Timothy Shaw or something like that. Straight invent dude on paper, and it be straight the cat sitting next to you the whole time. You know what I mean? And you chasing a character, a literary invention, that was made up on paper. You following a character profile, not knowing you chasing wind, boy. And it's actually the character profile of your partner next to you. Ain't that something? If y'all see that, Saul of Tarsus or Paul is related, he's bloodline related to the Herodians. Y'all see that? Go ahead and drop a 9,000 in the chat. A lot of people think your little brother making this stuff up. I ain't making none of it up. All right? Ain't making nothing of it up. Now check this out. Not only is Saul of Tarsus a bloodline, this is not only is Saul of Tarsus a bloodline relative of Herod the Great, he also had Roman citizenship. Come on now. Think about that. Think about that. Not only is he on the record coming out of his mouth that Herodian is his kinsman, his relative. This very same man has Roman citizenship. The Zoyak can have an answer for that. He tried a real, it was cute. He tried a real quick Bible dictionary search. It was trash. He was up Dung Creek without a paddle. He ain't never been swimming with sharks now, boy. You ain't never been drugged over here in this deep. You dig? Because one thing about sharks, they know when blood in the water. Put that boy in a blender, real spill. So easy to him. You know what I mean? I see him out there doing this, you know, he's still doing this thing. But man, Christians been laying into them boys. You know what I mean? Everybody getting exposed. Everybody getting exposed. So not only is Saul of Tarsus a bloodline relative of Herod the Great, he also had Roman citizenship. Let that sink in. Did any of the apostles have Roman citizenship? No. Did Yeshua have Roman citizenship? No. Let's read Acts 22, 25 through 29. Easy work, man. Big, easy work. Easy work, man. Look at this. And as they bound him with thongs, Saul said unto the centurion that stood by, is it lawful for you to scourge a man that is a Roman and uncondemned? They were about to get on Paul. This is right after they almost killed him in Jerusalem. Like, man, what is you on? They come to find out, Paul pulls his Roman citizenship out. He said, look, I'm a Roman, man. You already know you can't be hitting on me. All the hitting is reserved for Rome, not you. All right? You can't do that. When the centurion heard that, he went and told the chief captain, saying, take heed what thou doest, for this man is a Roman. Then the chief captain came and said to him, tell me, art thou a Roman? He said, Paul said, what did he say, y'all? Yeah. It's crazy because in the very book that he wrote and said Herodian is his relative, that's in Romans. They got a letter to the Romans, or Malachi, the assembly or the synagogue in Rome, whatever you want to say, man. Is that a coincidence? The man is telling you he's a Roman? And the chief captain answered, with a great sum obtained out his freedom. The chief captain, who has charge over 1,000 Roman soldiers, 2,000 boots, just told Paul, dang, you a Roman? I had to pay a large sum to get my citizenship, to get my stamp. I had to pay a huge sum. Huh? The chief captain answered, with a great sum obtained out his freedom. And Paul said, but I was what? Free-born. Free-born. So enough with the narrative that one of Paul's parents may have been a slave in Rome. Paul just told you, well, I'm a free. I was born with this status. Don't worry, we're gonna show how this type of status is obtained. Then you gotta ask yourself, well, dang. Yeah, okay, all Israel ain't Israel. You right, Paul. All Israel ain't Israel. You talking about yourself. Man said I was free-born. I'm a free-born Roman. Good night. Look, then straightway they deported him, which should have examined him, and the chief captain also was afraid after he knew that he was a Roman because he had bound him. But the chief captain got scared at the fact that they threw Paul They detained him and was about to beat on him. He found out dude was Roman and was like, man, if y'all take them cuffs off here, I'm gonna mess around and get demoted back to resident. Lose all my privileges. Dang, son. Dang, son. Y'all hit them likes, man. Hit them likes up, y'all. Now, true about this. Now, how can Saul of Tarsus claim Israelite heritage, have Herod the Great as an ancestor, and be a free-born Roman citizen? How is that possible? How can you claim to be a bloodline Israelite, but yet related to Herod? Because Herodian is out the family of Herod, right? And be a free-born Roman citizen. How is this possible? Which means he could have been educated in Greek. Not at the feet of Gamaliel in Jerusalem. That means he'd have been educated in Homer and Euripides, the Iliad, the Odyssey, rhetoric, philosophy, drama. He's all composed in his works in Greek. All Paul's letters are in Greek. Just one problem, they wasn't teaching the composition of Greek literature in first century Palestine. That wasn't going on in the synagogues and all that. Composition of Greek literature is an education reserved for the Roman elite. Huh? The Jewish aristocracy and the Roman nobility. That's who the education is reserved for. It's basically private school. So you couldn't have been raised at the feet of Gamaliel in Jerusalem. You know what I mean? Learning to be a Pharisee. If you're composing Greek literature, where you learn that at? When did you learn the composition of Greek literature if you was raised up by Gamaliel, the chief Pharisee in Jerusalem or in Judea? When you learn how to, compose Greek literature? How about more than likely you wasn't raised at the feet of Gamaliel? You just making claims. Then you go on and say you a citizen of Tarsus. Yeah, okay, well, Tarsus, that's a Greek or Roman colony. That's a Roman colony. Around Greece. Yeah, okay, so that's where you was learning all that from. Look at this, scripticaclassica.org. The intervention of Sextus Julius Caesar, governor of Syria, in the affair of Herod's trial. Again, remember the question. What's the question? How can Saul of Tarsus claim Israelite heritage, have Herod the Great as an ancestor, and be a free-born Roman citizen? How is this possible? Watch this. I got the receipts. Scripticaclassica.org. I got you. I'm gonna make it make sense for you. I'm gonna make it make sense for you. Cool. Y'all about to be like, what? All right. Sextus Julius Caesar and Herod's trial. Look at this right here, y'all. Instead of foaming at the mouth, pay attention. About July 47, this is before the Common Era, Julius Caesar came from Egypt to Syria. And during his short stay there, settled the affairs of the province and rewarded those states and individuals who had given him military aid in the Alexandrian War. Julius Caesar comes bringing gifts and blessing those that assisted him when he had to go to war. Here, I want to jump down right here. One of the individuals whom Caesar rewarded for his courage and excellent military record in the Alexandrian War was who, y'all? Antipater. the father of Herod. Hold on. You mean to tell me the Herodian dynasty, even though it starts with Herod the Great's father is Antipater, the Idumean. And guess what Antipater did? He saved Julius Caesar's life. Now look at this. Was Antipater, the father of Herod, to whom he granted who? Roman citizenship, boy. We looking at Saul's forefathers. If Antipater, had never saved Julius Caesar's life, the Herodians would have never gained Roman citizenship as recognized by the Senate in Rome. Because when you get stamped as a citizen, that goes into their records. Antipater, the father of Herod, was granted Roman citizenship by Julius Caesar because he saved his ass. I have discussed elsewhere the nature of this immunity by comparing it with the privileges granted by Octavian, another Roman emperor, between years 42 and 36 before the Common Era. And look at the same type of immunity, right? The solutus of Rosas. In that paper, I put forward the suggestion that the privileges Julius Caesar granted to Antipater and his descendants. What are we talking about? Antipater and all the Herodians that came out of him were granted Roman citizenship. Didn't Paul just say he was a freeborn Roman? Didn't Paul just say salute Herodian my kinsman? Didn't we just read off scripticalclassica.org that Herod the Great's father is Antipater? He saved Julius Caesar. He's rewarded Roman citizenship. Him and all his descendants. You still think Macabee making this up? You still in denial about any of this? The privileges Julius Caesar granted to Antipater and his descendants were the same as those given later to Seleucus and his family. If you understand that the Herodian family has a forefather named Antipater, and that Antipater is the one who saved Julius Caesar. And by saving Julius Caesar, all his descendants after him were stamped as citizens by the Senate in Rome. So now all we got to do is, Paul say he got Roman citizenship. Paul say he's related to the Herodians. Is there a Saul anywhere in Antipater or Herod's bloodline? Anywhere. Dang. As we see, Saul's a bloodline relative of Antipater, the father of Herod the Great. This would explain why Saul told the captain of the guard that he was a freeborn Roman citizen. To be freeborn means you didn't have to earn citizenship, y'all. And that your parents were both born free. That means both of Paul's parents were freeborn. In order for him to be freeborn, his mama and daddy had to be freeborn. Paul's Herodian, claiming to be Israel, claiming to be an apostle, claiming to have, this vision from the real Yeshua. Man, making claims. That's it. You ready to go to war. It's like, look, hold on, something ain't right with you. Both parents were born free. The privilege is solely based on the actions of your ancestors. Source, we can go to witness. What types of citizenship? Citizenship in Rome could be acquired through various means. To be born, Paul said he was freeborn, didn't he? To be born as a citizen required that both parents be free citizens of Rome. Bag drop, boy. Bag drop, boy. That's what you can't get around. It is. In order for Saul to be a freeborn Roman with citizenship, means that both his parents had blood relations to Antipater, the father of Herod the Great. Let's look at Antipater's family tree. Is Saul in there? Wait, no. Saul's Greek name is Saulus. Saulus.
Strong's G 4569, Saulus. Saulus.
Saulus. Let's say Saul equal desired, the Jewish name of the apostle Paul. Shaul, Saulus. Remember that. Saul's name is Saulus. Saulus. Right there. Or Shaul. See? I ain't making none of this stuff, man. It's stuff right here. Saulus, right? Let's get back to it. Get back to it. All right. How do we know his name is Saulus? Right? Let's look at the family tree. Look at the family tree. I didn't say it. He said he was related to the railroad. All right. Close family of coastal boy, B. Antipater, son of Antipater. Look at that. All right. Well, what do we got down here? Oh, Saul right here. Saulus. There is him downstairs. There he is right there. I ain't gonna tell you, well, no, there was a different Saulus and, you know, the different time. Look, y'all been backdating and rewriting everything. You know what I mean? Like, we own to your tricks now. You can't get that off on us. Like, well, that wasn't the same Paul. That wasn't the same Saul. That wasn't the same Epaphroditus. That wasn't the same. Y'all ain't doing them with backdating, rewriting, and double writing everything. As if there's only 5 names to choose from in the entire Roman world. Y'all not gonna play with us. We already see what y'all doing. Saulus. There he is right there. Oh my God, man. That's what I'm saying. Look, and then when we having these chop sessions like this, y'all, man, the wheels just be turning, man. You know what I mean? There he is at the top right there. Saulus and B. Antipater. Well, look what the cloud kicker. Cal say Saulus is the Latin Roman way of saying the name Paul. Everything is spoken and written in Latin, Greek. Good night. And that's why you see a lot of cats be mad, but they ain't really about to get out here and getting birds. Bag ain't that deep. All right, and look, this family tree, y'all, all you got to do is read Josephus. Josephus Ward, the Lowell Classical Library, and Josephus Antiquities, the Lowell Classical Library. You don't worry, we're going to go right into the Josephus and show you Saulus. And then show you this same Saul and Josephus is in the very same spots that Paul is at in the Bible. And you look, what are the odds? The nigga's related to them, has Roman citizenship. You dig? We got him on the family tree, and the havoc he causes in Jerusalem. It just so happened to be everywhere where this nigga Paul goes in Acts. Saul, where Saul goes in Acts, Saul is going in Josephus, war the Jews and Antiquities. And this same Saul is related to the king, which would be the Herodians. Come on, bro. What point? Right? What point is we even playing? That that's not the same one. That just all the names are the same. There he is, old lawless Saul. The family tree of Saul is based on Josephus' work, War of the Jews and Antiquity of the Jews. They mad at Josephus, not me. Y'all shelf game long, boy. Deep. My book. That's a Roman coin. Captured Judea. They minted coins when they captured Jerusalem. Say they got what? We got Jerusalem captive now. They minted a coin. I think that's a Roman soldier peeing on a sister. If I ain't mistaken. Let's go show Antiquity of the Jews. All right, we on page 538. Okay, let me make sure I'm right at the right spot. Okay, we got it right. Let me zoom in. Watch this, man. Cats really got to get themselves together. I know, you got your personal biases and you hate the fact it's me bringing out these things, but look, you feel me? If you had the nuts of a squirrel, you understand, and you knew the people were getting the wrong information, y'all was going the wrong way, on a real one gonna get off, turn around immediately. Nigga, the bus stop now. Nigga, bust that ugly and get back on the freeway. We going the wrong way. See, if you just be sincere and authentic, even when you looked at something wrong, people will still rock with you because they know, nigga, you wasn't on no BS with them. Look at this. Look what Josephus writes about this mysterious Saul. And now, Jesus, the son of Gamaliel. Okay, so Gamaliel has a son named Jesus or Joshua too. Okay. He became the successor of Jesus, the son of Damnaeus. Like, okay, so both y'all named Joshua. Or Yahshua, right? In the high priesthood, which the king had taken from the other. The king at this time, y'all, we dealing with one of Herod's sons. All right, probably Agrippa the first or the second, one of them. You know what I mean? Look at this, which the king had taken from the other. So look at this. You got an Edomite king appointing the priesthood. Huh? Like the priesthood are supposed to be bloodline descendants of Aaron, the high priest and all that. But you got an imposter king claiming to be Israel appointing the priesthood. See, it's all out of whack in the first century. You ain't even rolling how it's supposed to roll. You know what I mean? According to what's written, it's something totally different going on. Which the king had taken from the other, on which account a sedition arose between the high priests with regard to one another when they got together. So the high priest said, fuck all that. You know what I mean? You about to go get the jack boys out. They went to war over this priesthood that the king took from one and gave to the other. So what did they do? The high priest, both factions, go to war. Jesus, the son of Gamaliel, goes to war with Jesus, the son of Damnaeus. Okay? And so what had to happen was the high priest and them had to get together who? Bodies. Remember that, Acts 4, 1-6, we don't read it. Bodies are the boldest sort of the people. And frequently came from reproaches, throwing of stones at each other. So these two high priest factions are fighting, throwing stones and everything at each other. But Ananias to go off for the rest by his riches, which enabled him to gain those that were most ready to receive. All right, now Ananias is in Acts as the high priest. Then he gets snatched. You know what I mean? But because he used the position well, he amassed a large amount of wealth, right? Which enabled him to gain those that were most ready to receive. Meaning, if you got the money, you can hire mercenaries. They can go do your dirty work for you. Now look at this. Coach the Boris also, and who y'all? Saulus. Coach the Boris also, and Saulus. Saul did themselves get together a multitude of wicked wretches when they got all the jack boys out. And this because they were of who? The royal family. They were related to the Herodians, the Agrippa. Huh? Because they were of the royal family, and so they obtained favor among them because of their kindred to Agrippa. But still they used violence with the people and were very ready to plunder those that were weaker than themselves. And from that time it principally came to pass that our city was greatly disordered, that all things grew worse and worse. So you got Saul and Josephus going to Ananias, getting some type of funding or authority, start wreaking havoc. And that's book 20, chapter 10, Antiquities. Okay? I'm not making it up. We got Jesus, the son of Gamaliel, versus Jesus, the son of Danaeus. They go to war. Ananias, who used to be high priest, amassed a large amount of wealth, and he's able to pay, mercenaries to go ahead and handle this war that's going on between the two factions. Right? Crazy part about it, this Saul in here is what? Related to Agrippa, the Herodian king. Huh? So Saul and Josephus goes to Ananias. Let's go see what. Let's go here. That's really going on here, man. Show you Ananias, right? I said this is Josiah. He didn't even know it went right over him and Cotton's out here. All right. Right here. Acts 4 and 6. And Ananias or Anas, the high priest, the high priest, and Caiaphas and John and Alexander, and as many were of the kindred of the high priest were gathered together at Jerusalem. Okay. Now watch this. All we got to do. Go up 5 more chapters, and guess who goes to the high priest? Really? Hold on. And Saul, yet breathing out threatenings and slaughter against the disciples of the Lord, went unto who? The high priest. But the high priest is Ananias or Anas. Right? And Saul and Josephus goes to Ananias as well. Is that a coincidence? Is that's something we just gonna sweep up under the rug or sneeze at? Huh? Don't worry about it. There's more. There's more. Watch this. If I got it closer. Yeah, I got it closer right here. Here we go. Look at this. So the men of power, this right here is, hold on, let me see what it is. War of the Jews, chapter 17, section 418. That's where we at. All right, now watch this. So the men of power, perceiving that the sedition was too hard for them to subdue, and that the danger which would arise from the Romans would come upon them, first of all, endeavored to save themselves and sent ambassadors, some to Florus, the chief of whom was Simon, the son of Ananias, and others to Agrippa, among whom the most eminent were who? Saul and Antipas and Costabaris. You can't say Antipas ain't named after his forefather Antipater, and Costabaris, who were of the king's kindred. Romans 16:11. Salute the Herodian, my kinsman. Saul is related to the king. The king is Agrippa, Herod Agrippa. Okay, we got Ananias, Acts 4 and 6. Acts 9:1, Saul goes to the high priest, which would have been Ananias. Okay. Acts 4:6 identify the high priest as Ananias. All right. And then Antiquity of the Jews, Saul goes to Ananias to help what? Quell this war between the houses of the high priest. All right. Then we get over here, we see that this same Saul and Costa Boris and Antipas, guess who they related to? Agrippa. What name? Saul in the Bible said he saluted Herodian my kingdom. Agrippa is Herod, he's Herodian. His name is Herod Agrippa. There was an Agrippa the first and Agrippa the second. Okay. So they know the same people. Saul and Josephus know Ananias, and Saul and Bible know Ananias. Saul and Josephus is related to the Herodians, and Saul and the Bible is related to the Herodians. Okay. But maybe they're not the same person. Malaki! I hear all you Millie Mouth misfits now. All right. Page 633, book 2, chapter 20. That's this right here. This is in Acts 18, 12, and 27. We're going to go there too. You see it. They know the same people. They related to the same people. They in the same places. Here you go talking about it's not the same one. Well, damn, they know the same people with the same names. They're related to the same people according to them, right? They are even y'all in the same places. They're not even in the same place. They even in the same places. And you think Josephus ain't the one, right? Like, how? After this calamity had befallen Cestus, many of the most eminent of the Jews swam away from the city, as from a ship when it was going to sink. Costa Boris, therefore, and Saul, who were brethren, together with Philip, the son of Jacobus, who was the commander of who? King Agrippa's forces, ran away from the city and went to Cestus. But then how Antipas, who had been besieged with them in the king's palace, but would not fly away with them, was afterwards slain by the seditious, we shall relate hereafter, and zealots come slipping. However, Cestus sent Saul and his friends at their own desire to who? Achaia, to Nero, to inform him of the great distress they were in, to lay the blame of their kindling the war upon Florus, as hoping to alleviate his own danger by provoking his indignation against Florus. Okay, so we got the spot. However, Cestus sent Saul and his friends at their own desire to where? Achaia. Let's go to Acts 18. Like, look, we in the same spots, do they know the same people, related to the same people? In the same spots? Like, this ain't him? Oh, man. Eventually, we got to be real with ourselves, man. We did. Like, being authentic, not being authentic with yourself ain't gonna get you nowhere. Hold on, man. Y'all gotta leave me alone with all this. Come on, man. What are you talking about? Look at it. And when Gallio was the deputy of who? Achaia, the Jews made insurrection with one accord against Paul and brought him to the judgment seat. His doctrine, the Jews he talking about, y'all, is those who roll with James in them. Like, that's who he against. He against the apostles. But see, their infrastructure and their logistics is so on point that Paul really can't go nowhere without catching smoke. That's why he real violent in his letters. Like, if they writing this to you, they damned it. You know what I mean? Because he catching smoke everywhere you go. Everywhere you go. But do you see Saul or Paul in Bible is in Achaia? Just like Saul is in Achaia, Josephus. I'm making it up. However, sent Saul and his friends of their own desire to where? Achaia. Oh, dang, that's where we at over here. Exactly where we at. Hey, go on verse 27. It's not the same Saul, Malaki. And when he was disposed to pass into Achaia, the brethren wrote, exhorting the disciples to receive him. But when he was come, he helped them much that believed through grace. For he mightily convinced the Jews, and that publicly shown by the scripture that Jesus was the Christ. Saul in Bible is in Achaia, like Saul and Josephus is in Achaia. Saul in Bible claims to be Herodian related to the king, and Saul and Josephus is Herodian related. Saul in Bible goes to the high priest to get some type of authority and funding. You know what I mean? Stop some type of what they call rebellion. Saul and Josephus does the same thing. We know the same people, related to the same people, and y'all, they in the same places. This ain't the same dude he's writing about. You gonna let them play with your mind like that? What are the odds? It ain't him. What are the odds if it ain't him? What are the odds? My brother Eliyahu 7 says, I would not be surprised if Josephus is Paul. Yeah, we've been talking about that. Yeah, they do it all the time, man. They invent characters on paper. A literary invention. See that? What are the odds? You gotta be real with yourself, man. Like, stop playing. Like, stop being so much in denial, and just look at things for what they are. Don't spade a spade, man. Nobody ever showed you this. You ain't even been showed it. You just, you know what I mean? You rather get emotional instead of digging deep. Taking this thing serious, man. Take it serious. Take it serious. Still ain't done. Okay. Rolling. Also this, man. Now, y'all know your boy Paul. Hold on. This right here is the dead giveaway. You like to watch this, bro. This right here is about to blow y'all top. It's about to blow your top. Paul. Girl, hold on. I'm having fun now. That's the problem. Now we having too much fun with this stuff, man. It's like, look, I know you ain't got nothing for it. What am I supposed to say? You know what I mean? Hold on, this is the dead giveaway. I'm going to show y'all the dead giveaway. Elijah said it. Take notes, bro. Watch this. Watch this. Okay, this is the kill. This is the kill shot. This is why I think that it's highly likely Paul may be. You know what I mean? It's based off. There's other records like the Antiquity Unveiled that blow it all the way out the water. They come on out and like, you know what I mean? Dealing with Apollonius, Italiana, and dealing with all the cats from Hollywood, Josephus, Agrippa II. They all pull up in the spirit world and get a spiel. You know what I mean? Just based off the Bible and what surrounded it, just that aspect of it, man, it's hard. Listen to me. It's hard not to think or believe that Josephus is Paul. Yeah. How in the hell and that Josephus and his literary team are responsible for the New Testament as well? Think about it. Like, how in the hell is Saul in the Bible and Saul and Josephus? How do they know the same people, related to the same people, and in the same places? Now it's about to be even more deeper, because Saul in the Bible or Paul in the Bible and Josephus have the same exact homeboy, same exact friend. game? You think I'm playing? Watch this. Where we at? Malachi? Philippians 2 and 19, man. I be driving. So remember what our brother Elijah said, right? Shout out to my brother Yada Young, my brother, man. Love and life to the fam. Now, remember what our brother Elijah 7 just said. I would not be surprised if Josephus is Paul. He probably lied about his own death in the Bible. Think about it, Elijah 7. Paul don't die in the Bible. Paul gets back to Rome, you feel me, and retires in Caesar's palace on quote-unquote house arrest. That's Acts 28. Everything that you read about in Ephesians and Galatians and letters of Timothy and all that happened before Acts 28. Once he get back to Rome, he vanishes. He vanishes from history. They got traditions later on that came out that he got his head chopped off and then his body resurrected, headless. You know, but those are 3rd, 4th century traditions. According to the Bible, Paul didn't die. Paul got back to Rome and retired, basically, on house arrest, if you want to call it that, in Caesar's palace. Just like Josephus. Read Josephus' biography, it'll blow your mind. That's what he got. He got a loft in Caesar's palace, $5 whores throwing grapes down his throat, a wife, and Titus gave him the Hebrew scripture that he took to Jerusalem. At the time, he did write in Greek. Now, Paul gets back to, according to the Bible, Paul don't die. Paul went back to Rome and retires off the scene, supposedly on house arrest, in a loft in Caesar's palace. But look, this right here is the death blow. What I'm about to read to y'all is out the Bible, and then I'm gonna go pull up Josephus. Paul and Josephus got the same friend. Can't make it up. Can't make it up. Let's read it. We in Philippians 2. All right, notice what it says, Timothy and Epaphroditus, right? Look at it. Here we go. Philippians 2 and 24. But I trust, and this is Paul, right? But I trust in the Lord that I also myself shall come short. Yet I suppose it necessary to send to you Epaphroditus, my brother and companion in labor, fellow soldier, but your messenger and he that ministered to my wants. First and foremost, y'all, Epaphroditus is not no common name. You ain't never heard that name before. You ain't never heard nobody in history named Epaphroditus. So do we understand? Drop a 1 in the chat if you understand that Paul has a brother and companion in labor and fellow soldier and messenger that he calls Epaphroditus. Drop a 1 in the chat if y'all understand. Right? Drop a 1 in the chat if y'all understand that. Now this right here, what is this? This Flavius Josephus. This is his work against Atheon or Antiquity of the Jews. Book 1. Remember that name, Epaphroditus. Now look at it. I suppose that by my books of Antiquities of the Jews, most excellent who? Epaphroditus. Paul's friend or homeboy or companion just so happens to be Josephus' patriarch. Y'all, that's not no common name, Epaphroditus. So that right there is one of the reasons why I'm leaning toward Paul being Joseph. Who else writing the history of the Judean people from Rome or the Greek Isles in Greek? Hell, they in the same spots. I mean, think about it. Saul in the Bible goes to Ananias. Saul and Josephus go down. Saul in the Bible claims to be Herodian related. Saul and Josephus is Herodian related. Saul in the Bible was in Achaia. Saul and Josephus was in Achaia. Saul in the Bible has a friend, a brother, a companion named Epaphroditus. Josephus has a friend and a patriarch named Epaphroditus. And you still thinking these things are just a coincidence? Come on, we too smart for that. We're too smart for that. Look what it says. It says, I have made it evident. It says, I suppose that by my books of antiquity, the Jews' most excellent Epaphroditus, I have made it evident to those who peruse them that our Jewish nation is of very great antiquity and has distinct subsistence in its own origin. And also I have therein declared how we came to inhabit this country wherein we now live. Those antiquities contain a history of 5,000 years and are taken out of our sacred books, but are translated by who? Me into the Greek tongue. Who the hell is in Rome writing the histories of the Hebrew people in Greek? He just told you. Bag drop, boy. Who else is doing it? Who else has the education? Who else has the not just the influence, but the finance? Look at that. Josephus just told you. He the one writing it. So that means he has the education on how to compose the history of the Judean people into Greek. So that's exactly what the Gospel in the New Testament is supposed to be correct. How the hell he got the same characters in the New Testament all written in Greek? Knowing the same people, related to the same people, in the same places, and damn, Epaphroditus is your homeboy. If you see what I've been trying to tell y'all for a long time, it's Josephus writing it. Josephus is the one translating it from Hebrew into Greek, him and his literary team. Who the hell else would have the history when the dust settles? The entire gospel in the New Testament come out in the same language, from the same place. No, Malaki. And look, man, I know. You know that saying about, don't shoot the messenger and all that. That's not true. The messenger is the one that get popped. You know what I mean? That ain't true. That boy connected, man. They connected so much. He connected all the way up to Caesar's household. You playing? Right back to Philippians. Look at this. This man connected, bro. It's Paul again. Saul. Look what he said. He says, salute every saint in Christ Jesus, the brethren which are with me greet you. All the saints salute you, chiefly they that are who? Caesar's household. Y'all, so you can't say that the Roman government ain't responsible or in on the literature. The man who got over half the New Testament, not only is a Roman citizenship, he's connected all the way up to the household of Caesar. Epaphroditus ain't just Paul's homeboy and Josephus' patriarch and friend. Epaphroditus is also Caesar's secretary. Come on, man. Somebody got to do it. Eventually, you got to call a spade a spade. This man connected all the way up to the top. He's connected to Caesar. Dang. 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 That boy say, he say, and are taken out of our sacred book, but are translated by me into the Greek tongue. Enjoy your boy Joseph. He's your boy Joseph. Dang. Why is Josephus mentioned in Nero Caesar's secretary, Epaphroditus? Why is it that Saul and Epaphroditus are longtime friends? Saul not only has citizenship, he's connected from the Herodian appointed high priest all the way up to the household of Caesar, Nero. The hell with the French connection. Saul has a Roman and Herodian connection. We just read that about Epaphroditus, the household of Caesar solution. In closing, Yeshua of Nazareth had a family that he entrusted to continue his legacy and mission. Take a closer look at his bloodline. Matthew 13:55 is not this the carpenter's son. It's not his mother Mary called. It's not his mother called Mary, excuse me. And his brethren James and Joseph, and Simon, and Yahudah, Judah. Yahshua got a brother's name, Yaakov, Yosef, Shimon, and Yahudah. Boy, got a cousin named Yachanan. And his sisters, are they not all with us? What's then had his man all these things? Mark 6:3. Is not this the carpenter, the son of Mary, brother of James and Joseph, and of Judah and Simon? It just so happened to be the names of his disciples too, y'all. That's wild. And are not his sisters here with us? They were offended. So it's the Gospel of the Nazarenes. We showed it earlier. Chapter 5, 22 through 23, the family, man. This was a bloodline thing. These are some of the pictures I ain't get to show when I was on Black Royal Family on Friday. So what to say? It also came to pass that in the second year of Yeshua's life, the second son was born to Joseph and Mary. His name was called James or Yaakov, meaning one who was just and righteous before the Lord, one who was of true Israel. As with Yahoshua and Yahukanan, he, James, Yaakov, was consecrated unto the Lord, a Nazirite from his mama's womb, according to the way. Later years, they would have three more sons, Judah, Joseph, Justice, Simeon, and also two daughters, Asia and Lydia. Dang. Anyone notice the names of Yeshua's brothers are identical with some of his apostles? James, Joseph, Simon, Judah are all the names of the Messiah's brothers. So he had a brother named James, or Jacob, and a disciple named James, or Jacob. He had a brother named Joseph, and a disciple named Joseph of Arimathea. Interesting. He had a brother named Simon and a disciple named Simon. Okay. He had a brother named Judah and a disciple named Judah. Is this a coincidence, or are we to believe that some of his apostles were his actual brothers? We got something coming out about that too. His family, it's a borderline thing, man. Y'all gonna love it. But other than this is Paul. Look what he said. But other the apostles saw I none, save James, the Lord's brother. So even Paul admits that the master or Yeshua has brothers that are apostles. Y'all see that? Angelic love and light love. Paul again. Have we not power to lead about a sister or wife, as well as other apostles, and as the brethren of the Lord? Paul knows that the apostles, you know what I mean? Some of them straight family, they straight bloodline. Nice, man. Source. The first Christian bishops of Jerusalem. James, kinsman of Jesus Christ. Simeon Bar, kinsman of Jesus Christ. Them his brothers. And once Jerusalem fell, it's wide open, man. Them his brothers, though. See that? Paul can't come through Trump and all that. Trump and none of that. You know what I mean? That's a chronological New Testament. I also want to show this too, though. If y'all getting some understanding up in this deal, man. Hey, look, man, y'all go ahead and spin that vortex for your little brother, man. It's your brother and my brother. Then I'm gonna go ahead and let this music play. I got this other chart I'm about to bring up too. Got a couple people in the back chat we gonna bring up. Let's work! Mic check, 1 2 1 2. We got our beloved brother Selah Shalom in the building. When is the word, loved one?
Peace. You can hear me, King? I know my
I can hear you. Your screen froze though.
The word.
Yeah, screen froze.
But I hear you though, so you can hear me though.
I can hear you. Go ahead, talk to us, brother.
Okay. Yeah, man. You know what I mean? I had to make a run, so I was walking through Kroger listening to the joint.
Yeah.
But what caught my attention, I ain't get to hear it too clear because I was still running in and out. I just kind of got back in.
Yeah.
But Ananias, when you was going down talking about the priest and the high priest part, was you saying that he's an Edomite, Ananias?
No, I'm saying that the Rhodians were appointing priests.
Okay, yeah, that's what it was. Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah, they was appointing priests instead of it being like
from the seeds of Aaron.
Yeah, instead of being from the line of Aaron directly having to prove your lineage, they just would be like, hey, look, you get up out of there and we appoint whoever we fit.
Got you.
Do our agenda type, you know what I mean?
So they created their own high priest.
Yeah.
And priestly order.
Yep, exactly, bro. Just like so it was all out of whack anyway. Anybody, you know what I mean? But man, dealing with your boy Saul though, man. I'm like even dealing like with him and Josephus. You feel me? It's like how are they in the same places?
Yeah,
You
bro,
know,
that's a
the
dead
same
giveaway.
people, like what the hell? And even down to this Epaphroditus dude. It's like, nigga, what? You feel me? So yeah, man.
So Josephus got to be Paul, or
Man,
unless he wrote that as a character as himself. There's something going on.
Something going on with these literary inventions, man. They invent characters on paper all the time. The CIA do it all the time.
Facts.
Yeah, that shit happens all the time. You feel me? So that's what it's looking like, man. And then after so long, it can't be a coincidence. The hell, man, like all the same names, same places. You understand?
Right.
Doing the same exact things, going to holler at the same people, and even got the same friends.
Right. Yeah, that's crazy. That is crazy.
Like how is y'all thinking it ain't that? You feel me? My brother C-La Shalom dropped off a little. There you go. Let me add you back to the stage. There you go, bro. Oh, something wrong with your wish become. See right there. Bang. There you go.
Yeah, let me stop playing with the camera. Let me just I try to get it. I just pull up the thing back. But yeah, that's interesting though, with how you went into the, you know what I mean, Yeshua's upbringing, being Nazarenes. You said they didn't cut their hair, and then, you know, with Paul making that statement with long hair is a shame. You know, he who has long hair is a shame. So I was like, you know what, damn, yo. Because I used to always remember hearing that voice, that scripture, and be thinking like, damn, I got long hair, you know what I mean? And I'd even heard a couple of the brews on the street, like Zabak brought that up one time, you know what I mean? I don't think he had made a couple of niggas cut their hair because of that shit.
Yeah, they cut their hair, you did. But it's because of Paul. And then you never ask yourself, where the hell is he getting that from? Like nobody asked, what is Paul? Is he getting that from the Torah somewhere? Or like where he getting his sayings from?
Facts.
You know what I mean? And then come to find out, trip off this. Even if somebody made the argument and said, oh, he said that, but he wasn't talking about them. If he's saying that long hair is a shame, and all the apostles over there on that Temple Mount, Jerusalem, got long hair, even if he ain't talking about them, he talking about them.
Exactly.
You see what I'm saying? If you're not talking about James, he the one told you to abstain from meats offered to idols, right? And then you go and say, well, eat whatever the hell you want. It don't matter. Don't stop asking questions.
Right.
You feel me? And then you come up with a doctrine that says, in the last days, some shall depart from the faith, giving heed to seducing spirits and doctrines of devils, commanding to abstain from meats. Well, brother, you already been told to abstain from meats. And then you go and say, if you only eat herbs or vegetables, you're a weak believer.
Right.
So hold on. So the apostles got long hair over in Jerusalem, but you ain't talking about them, right? The apostles are lifelong Nazarites, never tasted flesh, but you ain't talking about them, right? You see what I'm saying? It's like everything he got a problem with, they stand on. Ooh-wee.
That's deep, man, because a lot of people don't be putting those two and two together like that, man. And like you say, it's all in his work, in his writings. You know what I mean? The hostility is right there in his writings.
It is, bro. It's sitting right there in your face. It's like, dang, like I don't even know how you get around it. The nigga had 12 disciples too. He had 12 disciples. He was calling the apostles workers of Satan, false apostles. It's like, bro, who you think? So he's talking about apostles, but he ain't talking about the apostles.
Right? Yeah, that don't even make sense.
So what is he talking about?
Well, it's just apostles just flourishing on the scene, just out of nowhere and shit.
Just tiptoeing through the tulips and plush meadows. You know, there's an apostle up here naked in Greece somewhere, yodeling. You know what I mean? In green pastures. Like, come on, bro. Like,
hey, but one thing did catch my attention when you first came on, and the clip you was playing, and it said Peter and Paul came to blows.
Yeah.
Them niggas got the fighting, son.
Man, he taking it from Galatians. He understand when he read Galatians that was a very major confrontation. They don't say that they was, you know what I mean, banging or nothing like that, but it could have been that based off how sharp the contention was. Like the contention was sharp. And that's what I'm saying. It's like they didn't rock with Paul like that. Especially once they realized what he out there talking about. Nah, bro, you gotta go. You tripping. You know what I mean? Yeah, like dude was really doing his own thing. And the crazy part about it, all the scholars already know this. They already know it, bro. We the ones late.
Right,
you know what I mean?
right. And a lot of these goddamn biblical preachers know this too. You know what I mean? Because some of them, like I know, what's his name, Creflo Dollar. Because I used to, check him out. He was sharp. It's like I can see how this nigga wolf in sheep clothing because he know what he talking about. Yeah. He just feeding off the people.
Yeah, yeah. I wanted to come back and make sure I showed them pictures though.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I caught some of that.
I'm
like, some of that when I was in the Kroger's.
Yeah, I'm like, man, you feel me? Because them pictures tell it all. Especially when we showed that James, Peter, Yahshua, his mama Miriam, his cousin John, the whole family was living like that. The entire family. You know what I mean? Nazarites from the womb. No razor ever touched their head. They not chewing on no flesh. So those two things alone, Paul got a problem with. Like, and he's talking about some false apostles somewhere. So you talking about long hair, but you're not talking about them. You talking about eating on the flesh, you ain't talking about them. You talking about if you only eat vegetables or you plant-based, you're a weak believer, but you're not talking about them. And you saying false apostles, and they the only apostles, but you not talking about them.
Right.
Come on, bro. That don't even make sense. Right. That's who you talking about.
That's crazy. That's like a Katazak looking nigga trying to convince some Nazarene Rasta niggas like goddamn Sizzler and Cableton looking niggas. You know what I mean? Congolese dread niggas.
That nigga Paul probably blew all his draws out when he came to Jerusalem and seen some thousands of Rastas in that deal. Like, hey, and James told him, he said, hey, look, hey, take this file. You better take this file. Prove to us that what we heard about you was false.
Right. And they knew he was a fraud. For them to, even for them that like you gonna take this, right? They knew he was a fraud, yo.
Yeah, he basically punked them into taking it.
Right.
Like nigga, shit. What you gonna you see how many thousands of niggas at my snapping command? You better take this vow. We've been hearing you been out here teaching something contrary to what we talking about. You know what I mean? But you about to take this vow and you about to pay for it. He had to pay for it.
Yeah, they played him.
Yeah.
So if he would have stuck to the vow, he would have been talking all that crazy talk. Yeah, exactly. But he needed that flesh. He needed to eat that meat because he's an Edomite. Exactly. He's an eating mite.
You know what I mean? Just connecting the dots, man. Dealing with the Josephus. Josephus just admitted he the one writing it. It's translated by me into Greek. He just admitted it. We showed it on the.
Show that one more time. You can show it real quick?
Man, bro, I showed
So hold up. He translated what in the Greek he was saying?
The histories of the Hebrew people. You know what I mean? Because remember, he got back to Jerusalem and Titus gave him the scrolls.
So he probably wrote them epistles. He probably wrote them gospels.
Him and his literary team, bro. I mean, they got the same, they in the same places. Knowing the same people, related to the same people. Hell, even all the way up to Nero Caesar's secretary. Y'all know this nigga. Like, what the hell is really going on? Right here. Let me share this with you real quick. This ain't nothing to play with, man. Cats be straight tripping. All right, here, present, share screen. And that's this right here. Now, this is Josephus's Antiquity of the Jews, book 1, the beginning of it. Look at this. And there go Epaphroditus that Paul was writing to in Philippians. It says, I suppose that by my books of the Antiquities of the Jews, most excellent Epaphroditus, Paul's friend, that's Philippians 2 and 24, 25. And Epaphroditus just so happened to be Nero Caesar's secretary. Paul's homeboy and Josephus' homeboy. Most excellent Epaphroditus. I have made it evident to those who peruse them that our Jewish nation is of very great antiquity and had a distinct subsistence of its own originally, as also have therein declared how we came to inhabit this country wherein we now live.
Those antiquities contain the history of 5,000 years and are taken out of our sacred books, but are translated by me into the Greek tongue.
This nigga said 5,000 years, bro. What are you talking about with that 5,000 years?
I don't know, and that's why I be trying to get the cats that talking about it's 57 something. Josephus said 5,000 years, 2,000 years ago.
He talking about writing the goddamn Genesis.
Yeah.
In Greek, no, but nonetheless, though, he's telling on himself right there.
But he's the one in Rome writing the Hebrew histories. Now, what is the New Testament supposed to be? It's supposed to be a history of the Judean, or at least starting out in Judea, history of the Judean people in Greek. And he's in Rome writing this.
With the scrolls.
Yes. When you read his biography, he tell you when he got to Rome and got that government pension and lived in Caesar's palace, that one of the things Titus gave him were the Hebrew scrolls, so he could get the writing.
It's funny how he said taken out of our sacred books. Usually them niggas would be like taking out the Tanakh or something like that.
Yeah. The wording is weird, but right there proves Josephus and his literary team are in Rome writing Hebrew histories in Greek. Now, since Septuagint was already out, we know all that. You understand? But yeah, we understand that. So the next group of work that will be written in Greek would have to be the New Testament. What the hell else? But he's talking about 5,000 years. So that means he's going back to the beginning. So how much of Flavius Josephus's work is used, you know what I mean, or was used to edit, redact, and produce the Bible we have today? Because he's saying, nigga, this shit right here is 5,000 years and are taken out of our sacred books.
Right. So the sacred book would be the Tanakh. 5,000 years would be goddamn the beginning of their creation story around that time.
Yeah.
Find out that goddamn Josephus came with in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth.
He on record, and really you don't got no other first century record but this one. He on record saying he the one writing it in the Greek. He writing something in Greek. You dig? And then you wonder why when you read Antiquity of the Jews, it take you all the way back to Adam and Eve and all that. It reads just like the Bible.
Oh, you do take it back then in the writing.
Yeah, it may be a few extra minute detail differences and all that, but Josephus talk about everything from Adam and Eve all the way up to the fall of Jerusalem.
He talk about the flood of Noah and all that?
He talk about all of it, bro. And his Antiquity of the Jews that he wrote in the mid-90s.
Damn, yo. So this is interesting right here, yo.
Yeah, Immortal Technique said something a while back, man, that caught my ear. He said Josephus is the ghostwriter of the whole Bible. I say, dang it. You know what I mean? And Immortal Technique is an underground, one of the coldest underground rappers ain't nobody ever heard of for the most part. Son Cold.
Yo, let me tell you something. A Mexican put me on the goddamn Immortal Technique, and he was a teenager at the time, and I was already in my 20s, and he put me onto the shit.
Man, Technique go hard.
Yeah, he go hard, Joe.
I was listening to him on one of his tracks. He was like, man, Josephus is the ghostwriter of the entire Bible. You know? And I found all this information years later. I was like, dang, Technique was saying that.
Damn.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
I gotta pull up this chart right quick to see when Josephus. Let me take a quick look at the life of Josephus to see if this nigga was around when all the Gospels was
yeah, he lived from like the 30s to like the 100s or something like that.
Let me see. I had it on here.
Yeah.
Let me see.
The first Gospel is Mark. That don't come out to the 70s, and Josephus's work, the War of the Jews, come out in the 70s.
Yeah, so Josephus lived from 37 to 100 AD.
Yep. And his work, though, the War of the Jews, came out in like 70 something of the common era, and the first Gospel is Mark, come out around the same time. 70 something.
Crazy.
Yep. He's doing it. He's writing the works the same time the Gospels are coming out. You know what I mean?
Hey,
Gospels like John and Revelations come out in like the 80s and the 90s. Josephus is writing his Antiquity of the Jews in the 90s.
Yo, that is crazy. Yup. So basically, 37. Yeah. So the epistles of Paul is 50
Yep.
to 62.
Yep.
The Gospels is 68 to goddamn
110.
110. Yup.
Yeah.
The Acts is 80. So he would have been the nigga writing all this.
He's already writing during that time. That's what I'm saying. So who else you got writing at the same time this shit coming out? In Greek. From Rome.
From Rome.
Shit. Who else you got?
And you know what? That's crazy. Because even Paul died in 65, so he couldn't have wrote after that time period.
Supposedly.
Supposed, right? Yeah, that's that part, right?
If I asked somebody to show me in the Bible Paul dying, they couldn't do it. Paul don't die in the Bible. Paul dies in tradition later on, 3rd, 4th century. They got a tradition that he got his head chopped off and then his body resurrected as a headless corpse. But if we go off Bible, Josephus get Acts 28. Acts 28. Paul is written out of the Bible. He's back in Rome on what you would call privileged house arrest. He don't die. And to trip about this, Josephus ends up back in Rome in the same situation. Yeah, all that Nero killed him, bro. That's years. That's tradition. They came out a couple hundred years later. According to the Bible, that nigga went to Rome and retired off the scene. Yeah. Yeah. He don't die in Bible.
So him and Paul end up in the same goddamn place, Rome.
In Rome. Right in Greek. So by the time you get to Acts 28, which is the end of Acts, right? Everything that Paul was writing about from Galatians to Ephesians to Corinthians to Thessalonica, all that already happened. By the time he get back to Rome, it's over. Nigga, there's no more Paul after that. Even though you're gonna read his letters after Acts 28, but that's because it's not in order. It's like, oh, okay. By the time he got back to this is the end of his mission right here. You know what I mean? But no, man, Paul never dies in the Bible. The death of Paul is strictly tradition.
Wow. So he probably instigated the whole motherfucking fall of Jerusalem, if that's the case.
Hey, we just read about Saul during the fall of Jerusalem, running around there in Josephus. That was during that time.
Damn.
And he in the same place as Saul in the Bible, Achaia. He has a friend named Epaphroditus, just like Josephus. He's related to the Herodians, just like Saul in the Bible. Right? He goes to Ananias, the high priest, just like Saul in the Bible.
That's too much, yo.
Come on, bro. And they gonna tell you, oh, well, no, man. You know, that's just a different one. You know, to play on your mind. It's like, well, no, listen to me. Y'all act like it was only 4 names to choose from in the ancient world. You dig? All these people got the same names in the same places.
Right.
That's what y'all doing.
Right.
Y'all not just backdating, y'all double writing and rewriting this stuff, man.
Right. Big facts.
Yeah, that's it. You feel me? So all people gotta do is slow down, C-Lot, man.
Down. Bro. When you slow it down, man, it make a big difference. It's like, damn, it's right there in the text that this dude is hostile towards, you know what I mean, the original heads.
He is, man. And then we read what Peter's saying, I only eat bread and olives and a few herbs. We got James on record in the Nazarene literature and in history, dealing with the church father. They're like, that man never ate flesh. You know what I mean? That man never shaved his head.
And then when you went into Paul being a Roman citizen, like, then you went back to Antipater and all Herodians. So I'm like, show me where a Benjamite get Roman citizenship.
That's what I'm saying.
Even historically, show me that if this nigga's supposed to be a Benjamite.
You got Roman citizenship, bro.
Show me a
Reborn.
Caribbean, because you remember that the Benjamites are the West Indians. So show me a West Indian roster nigga getting Roman citizenship during them days. And these are zealots.
Man,
Come on, man.
it ain't making sense once you just sit back and look at it. It ain't
Exactly.
making a lick of sense. Dig? And once people see it, they're not gonna be able to unsee it.
Right.
Once you see, like, oh, okay, yeah, he was moving kind of. That's why he was moving like that. That's why he said what he said. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
That's why he said, man, look, I'm working to undermine these niggas. Let me share this with the fam real quick. Watch this. Let me show y'all, bro. This ain't a game. What you think we playing? Man,
Paul is an agent. You know, he brought down fucking Jerusalem. It was his ass behind that shit.
man, this nigga is I'm talking about he ain't all the same places Paul in. Shit, what the hell is we talking about? Like,
You know what I mean? And
Right.
then Louis said he goddamn, you know, if you're gonna use this time period, you know what I mean, just piggybacking off of that.
Yeah.
Shit, they say 40 years after the nigga death, he stirred up the inhabitants. So it's like, nigga, that's 70 AD if you're following that, you know what I mean? If you're gonna play that narrative.
Exactly.
And if you're gonna play the other narrative, shit, it's still falling line.
They ain't even ready for that, boy.
Nah, we're gonna keep that we're gonna keep that for the gym.
We're gonna keep that. When we finally get it all the way worked out, we got a bomb for y'all. Y'all gonna be like, whoa.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Now, this right here is Paul in 2 Corinthians 11 and 12.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now remember, we all know what apostles are now. Remember, an apostle, according to Acts chapter 1, 21 through 26, you had to be a day one, meaning you had to witness Yahshua going in and out amongst the people. You had to witness his baptism. You had to witness his ascension. They said, must one be ordained to be in this ministry and take part of this apostleship. Yeah. So look what Paul is saying, 2 Corinthians 11 and 12. And then we're going to get it in a version that has clearer English, because sometimes it's hard to make out what's being said. Look what he say. But what I do, that I will do, that I may cut off occasion from them which desire occasion, that wherein they glory, they may be found even as we, for such are false apostles, deceitful workers, transforming themselves into the apostles of Christ. What is Paul saying right there in these two verses? But what I do, that I will do, that I may cut off occasion from them which desire occasion. And then he go on to say, those that desire occasion are who? False apostles, deceitful workers, transforming themselves into the apostles of Christ. Watch this. Let's go to a different translation. 2 Corinthians 11 and 12. Still think he ain't talking about these so-called apostles. And man, I try to tell you, man, like, dude ain't, it's something wrong with dude. And then once you peep that and then start, okay. We can read a couple of them. We can go to the NLT right here. It says, but I will continue doing what I have always done. This will undercut those who are looking for an opportunity to boast that their work is just like ours. Dang. Hold on. What do you say? And I will keep on doing what I am doing in order to cut the ground from under those who want an opportunity to be considered equal with us in the things they boast about. So is Paul admitting that he's working to take down the apostles? He's working. You dig? That's his aim. Paul said, I'm in it to win it. I ain't in this to be cool. Look at this. Let's do the ESV. And what I am doing, I will continue to do in order to undermine the claim of those who would claim that in their boasted mission, they work on the same terms as we do. Now, remember, the mission is just spreading the news that Yahshua gave. So who else is doing it? Who he talking about? in ASB. But what I am doing, I will also continue to do so that I may eliminate the opportunity from those who want an opportunity to be regarded just as we are in the matter about which they are boasting. Paul ain't look, he ain't working to be cool. You know what I mean? He ain't in it to be cool with nobody. He like, I'm past that. I'm past that. Now watch this. Let's read it straight through in the NLT. 2 Corinthians. Oh man, my bad. Right here. Show you the people he talking about and cutting down in verse 12, he identifies in verse 13. But I will continue doing what I have always done. This will undercut those who are looking for an opportunity to boast that their work is just like ours. These people are who? False apostles. They are deceitful workers who disguise themselves as apostles of Christ. Dang. Dang. You see what I'm saying? So, man, it get real in the field. You know what I mean? Okay. It's all good, family. Y'all shout out to Selah Shalom. Shout out to Cosmo and Cal TV. Y'all go like, subscribe, share. Shout out to my brother Daryl Cosmo. Shout out to my brother Darius in the building. What's the word, Darius? What's the word, brother? Love like that. Both on the same prison ship going to see Emperor Nero in about AD 62. So they were both shipwrecked on Malta and both sailed on the next spring to Naples to see Nero and both spent time in Rome. Good night. Yeah, Paul may be a pseudonym. Absolutely. I'm about to get up out of here, family. I got to go, chop it up with the, got to go grab these short leggers real quick. Chop it up with the fam. As always. You know what I mean? Getting them vibes, man. Breathe in, let the light in. Yeah. Oh. Breathe in, let the light in. If y'all got some understanding today, man, y'all go ahead and drop some 9,000 in the chat. With the brother Malaki Macabee, Megaton light bulb. Examining Saul of Tarsus. Was he friend or foe? Y'all type in the chat. Saul of Tarsus, friend or foe? See if y'all been listening. We're gonna ride out through the cosmos, baby. Y'all better believe it. CGG is in the building. Again, y'all, we got the best, best system in order right now, man. Best system in order, you dig? Yeah, y'all put in the chat. It's Paul, friend or foe, man. Y'all tap in with your brother, man. The book From Darkness to Determination. Are yours truly, your brother Malaki Macabee. Oh, From Darkness to Determination, a practical guide on conflict, depression, and trauma. Purchase links are already in the video description. Big practical guide on conflict, depression, and trauma. I'm gonna do a class on some of it. I'll walk right through it. Available in ebook, paperback, and even hardcover. Dig? I ain't even make it too expensive. You dig? I figure that's something everybody deal with, mental health, depression. You know what I mean? All that. Y'all tap in, man. On Amazon. Purchase links are in the description. Darkness to Determination. Your brother Malaki Macabee. A practical guide on conquering depression and trauma. Good. Tap in with your brother, man. Yeah, I heard work. Oh, come on. Yeah. Y'all tap in, man. Gang out. We outside. All the way. Hey, Brown's right on for that catch, too. Boy, I tell you. Love is love. Y'all take the description box, man. I mean, tap on in. It's a practical guide. You can put it into motion today. Okay? Put it in motion today. Practice. Yes, sir. Young Macabee an author now. All right. I'll go ahead and top a couple of them deals, man. Get them deals out like stimulus checks or something. You know what I'm talking about? I'll praise to the Creator, man. I know, BP. That be hard, ain't it? That be hard. I ain't go for it. Yeah, my brother C. Shalom blessed me with that. I was like, bro, I need that. You tripping. Let me get that slab. You know what I mean? I can vibe to that. I can ride to that. That's traveling music right there. You know what I mean? You jump on the highway, you got that deal playing. Yeah, that deal easy. Shout out to Elijah 7. What's up, bro? And we outside. Got this other book we working on too. About the backdating of the Holy Scriptures. Oh my God, y'all gonna be like, what? Yeah. I'm down with the rough draft on that one already. I mean, I'm about to start trimming some fat and add some more stuff now. I ain't know, VP. I ain't know. Give me some beats to the honor and humility STL. Yeah, give me some beats. I be moving some beats and vibe too. You feel me? 4 horsemen in this thing, Cal. You already know, bro. It's my brother. Cloud kicking himself. Cloud's my Cal. Y'all gonna like something, I'm sure. I'm telling y'all, don't get caught out of it, man. All the gods are falling. We all falling. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah, I was falling, man. Tap into the game. We'd have never went out like you see a Billy Carlson, man. We never been called like that. I mean, but nah, man. So like I said, the book is a guide for practical. You don't matter what you're gonna be in life. You ain't no victim. Look, you either the victor. Victim. You the predator or the prey, the hunter or the hunted. That's life. You know what I mean? You gotta attack life like I'm in hunt mode. Yeah. You really determine your own fate out here. You gotta be bold, confident, and know what it is. Then you start moving out the way for you. You know what I mean? It just show you how to take the bull by the horns, man. No matter what you've been through, no matter what trauma is lying in your muscle memory, no matter what it is, you take control of that today. No matter your race, religion, ethnicity, financial situation, they just apply across the board. You know what I mean? I'm something to humanity. That's why I ain't charging all the arm and legs. It's what it is, man. Let's work. Be better. Let's get better. Yeah. Let's move out to these cosmos, man. There's so much more to witness, so much more to be about. Let's fly high. It's time to elevate above all this. Move past that darkness in your life. You know what I mean? Got you bound. Move past that resentment. Move past it and rise above it. Declare it bound. You know what I mean? Motionless, powerless, and fruitless. I don't accept you in my life. That's all you gotta be. Show life. You know what I mean? So it is what it is, family. Love, light, and balance to the fam. Y'all know that. Once again, it's your little brother, Malaki Macabee, Megaton Light Bomb. Yeah. Next time, we're gonna ride out. Oh. Don't hurt nobody, guys. Let it ride one more time, too. That's the back. Oh. Come on. Desert. You already know I keep it coming. I had a homie out here like that. Hey, for real. Hey, Bronze, man, that was a woo. I said, that's my brother right there, boy. I like the way you hollered at me, too. You hollered at me on the, you pulled me aside, basically. Like, hey, did you know? I'm like, no. I hurried up with you. I'm like, and then I was pissed. We gotta go ahead and make it right. Y'all really don't. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. Might be seeing you soon too. Ron's series really true. DP man make beats. Ron's make the beats. Couple bros, FGK can follow. Couple bros get out. What little bro at? Young Prince, beautiful. I ain't seen him in a minute, man. Y'all send that brother my love when y'all talk to him. I ain't seen the God in a minute. I heard he got his family back or moved on and got him something hot. I'm happy for him. Your brother. Riding out. Ride out for the Cosmos. Ocean line. Fire shit. Anything. He rides above the door. Go past him. He ain't going nowhere. The officers ain't going nowhere. You gotta know how to deal with it when you amongst them. You know how to navigate. Other than that, you can't even attain to the Godhead. Everything you always should have seen for you. I mean, got to do your light work. You got to do the spirit of light work on the joker. You have all that shadow work. Nah, you put some light on somebody. You know what I mean? And the angels of light chase away them and disperse that darkness. Turn the light up around those big. So that's how you get everybody's attention. Turn the light up. Don't answer problems with darkness, man. I mean, there ain't gonna be no victim either. You see the war coming, shit, bind it. Render it powerless. You dig? Till the next time, fam. Love is love. All praise to the ever-present Creator, the creator of suns, moons, and stars.